The It's all beings considered. Do you want to hear my new theme song, Crystal?
Diseases rage through the cages tonight, but we're all on this planet and breathe the same air. It's all our health,
Nice.
so we'll all have to fight. Because if you care to plan, you plan to care. One health, one love on earth.
Hello, everybody.
All beings
Welcome.
considered.
All beings considered. Armadillo.
Working together, we just might make it right. If we join our voices into one common plea, we can bring injustices into daylight. Because everyone can change what everyone can see.
All right.
One love on earth.
All beings considered. All right, Crystal, welcome back. I'm so glad we're both here today. You know, even though it's bird flu still rages, we're still going to be there together. You know, that's we're going to see the end of the world together, Crystal.
We're going to see the end of the world together. That sounds a bit dramatic.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they always say that that's how it's going to happen, right? It's going to be the jackpot of like a war, a famine, and a disease all at the same time. That's what's going to do us all in. But I'm glad that I'm sharing this time with you.
Okay. Anyway.
At the end stage. Should I start? I had this so I saw this thing in the news. It was kind of sad. Well, it is sad. It's tragic. In Mexico now they have their first fatality. It's the second fatality in North America. Mexico City. Well, it's actually in Coahuila. She was 3 years old. No other problems, but she's the first person to die in Mexico of bird flu. They're not really sure how she got it yet, and they're testing people all around. They haven't found anybody else with it, so they're saying that human contacts, that the 38 human contacts with the girl had been tested and all came back negative. They're saying that the risk of more human infections was considered low. What do you think?
I wonder how she got it. How she's 3 years old. Like, what is she in? Is she crawling around on the ground? Is she did she come across a dead bird? Who knows?
Is that what you know? You know, the lady and the little kid in I think the kid was 2 or something. The one that died in India. It was because they were feeding their kid raw chicken.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
That they just didn't like their kid. You know,
they didn't like their kid.
Like, some people like really just don't want children, and this is why we have to normalize, child-free living. It's fine to not want kids. Just don't poison your kids by feeding them raw chicken when you don't like them. I hear you can drop them off at your local fire department if you don't want your kids anymore. There's
true.
ways.
You can surrender them. That's true.
Yeah.
You got me there. You're right. I feel like feeding kids. I found out recently that there's baby food that's made out of animals, and it's a paste made out of animals, which kind of blew me away. I didn't know that was a thing, but it's such an early point in your life where people start putting dead animals into your mouth, and I'm sure they do it out of love. They think they're training their kid how to be part of our society, how to be one.
No, they think that that's the healthiest diet for their kid to grow. They're not doing it to be like, oh, we have to normalize the kid to violence against animals. That's not what they're thinking.
I know. I didn't think it was violence against animals. They were normalizing that, but normalizing the fact that they have to eat animals, I guess. Like, because I don't know.
I don't think it's a conscious choice that people make. I think they just think like, oh, this is what you have to eat to be healthy. It's not maybe. Like people don't even recognize that they're eating animals. Like they're just
Yeah.
like, this is food that we need to be healthy. Like this is, and it's unhealthy to eat an animal-free diet. Like you're
Right.
going to stunt your child's growth. And all you hear is stories of these silly vegans starving their kids and not feeding them correctly and all of that. That's
Yeah, I guess when people feed their kids animals, I know that they go through digestive problems. Like when a little kid first eats animal product, or the paste, the animal paste, they have explosive diarrhea. They have all sorts of issues. They vomit more, but then they get meat trained, right? So they must.
really, is that a thing? I don't know. I never had
Yeah.
kids. I've never babysat. I have no idea what
That's
the deal
it's a
is.
thing. I hope someone in the chat can back me up. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Do we have any parents in the chat? People with their parents, kids, they get fed flesh, or like usually it's that meat paste, but sometimes it's little pieces of raw chicken or little pieces they start putting animals into the kid's mouth. But it does mess with them right away. It takes a while for their bodies to get used to eating animals because they've eaten like mashed apricot and stuff and up until that point. They're not used to that.
How when do they start introducing animal protein? Because like human milk is animal protein. Like why is
True,
animal
but
meat
it,
different?
I'm not sure why that there's a huge difference between animal meat and breast milk, except that breast milk is definitely kind of, it's biologically intended for us. I don't see that there's got to be some massive difference between the lactose from your mother and the lactose from a cow or from pig's flesh. Dead animals, necrotic flesh. It's got to be.
It's not necrotic.
I mean, it's dead. It's undergoing decomposition, right? As soon as you tear it out of the animal, isn't it?
I mean, what is it? Well, when you cut a plant, it's undergoing decomposition.
That's true.
This is when we start sounding like crazy vegans when we say absurd stuff like that.
I'm saying
Trying to make
absurd
it.
stuff. You said that your parents don't love you if they're feeding you dead raw chicken.
I mean, how
I'm
many
the
parents really
I'm the
don't want
absurd one.
kids? Anybody in the chat, do you regret having children? Tell us your
Oh,
story.
jeez.
Who is your kid? And why do they suck so much?
You sound like I had this coworker for a while, and he said that every time he looks at his kid, he says, he wished that he named his kid European Vacation. He always wanted to see Europe, but instead he accidentally had a kid, and he's probably never going to see Europe now.
Yep.
And every time he looks at his kid, he thinks about, man, I wanted to go to Europe sometime, and now I never will.
Yeah, get sterilized, guys. Don't
Or go to Europe,
do
then have
something.
kids.
Or just go to Europe.
You could do that. Yeah, go to
There's
Europe.
so many things you can do with your life rather than procreating. But if you want to procreate, like, I'm not an antinatalist. If you understand that you're not being socialized and thinking that having a kid is going to fill some void in your life that you need filling, and you really have this desire to raise another human being, like, by all means go for it. But I think the vast majority of people have kids for the wrong reasons, and we need to stop that, because that's what's running in the world. We have a whole bunch of people who are unloved by their parents and suffer because of it, and it's really sad.
Unwanted children also commit more crimes. There's all sorts of evidence. Have you read Freakonomics? They talk a lot about stuff like that. It's very bizarre, kind of.
It's sad.
It's, but I know that when I've talked to lots of people who are procreators, lovely people that did it for, all the good reasons and love their kids, but they've started feeding their kids at like 3 dead animals.
At 3.
Usually like chicken McNuggets and things like that.
I mean, I don't know anything about kids, so if you can chime in on what little children eat and when, like, that's helpful, but I know nothing about that.
According to Google, parents typically introduce meat to their babies at around 6 months.
Interesting.
Yeah, there you go. And at age 3 to 5, beef.
Age
So
3
maybe,
to 5. Wow.
yeah, it says beef can be introduced to help bone growth. Come on. But meat can be introduced after 6 months when babies are typically ready to start eating solid foods. So they're saying just right away. But it says it should ensure it's well cooked and prepared in a way that's safe and easy for babies to eat, such as shredded or chopped. But that's the thing. I think it's probably easier for them to slurp down raw, soft flesh than it is for them to eat tough cooked chicken. I'm thinking. Anyway, the kid, I'm guessing since the kid in India definitely caught bird flu from the raw chicken that their parents were feeding it. The kid, I call the kid it because I can't remember if the Indian child was a boy or a
They.
girl. They, you could call babies it anyway. Yes, they,
Can you
the
call a
child,
baby animal it, though? Mm.
look, I mean, an imaginary, a baby human you call it if you don't know the gender. And that's what I was just saying because I wanted to differentiate between the parent and the child. But the child in India, whose gender is now questioned, the child, was being fed raw chicken. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch to assume the same thing happened in Mexico, even though there's no, according to this, there's no, they don't know how the kid got it. Yeah. But hospitalized with respiratory complications caused by the infection in the western state of Durango. Well, it is sad. I mean, it's the second death in North America. Do we count? I mean, how do you count it? Do we just count geopolitical borders, or do we count,
I mean,
tectonic plates?
I don't think it matters. Let's just yeah. Viruses don't obey borders. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's close, and I'm worried about it. I know that you make fun of me because I'm worried about catching bird flu, but I don't want to get it. Do you think any indication that we're going to have more children get it?
Well, it says I'm just looking up bird flu news right now. Bird flu deaths increased in recent months in Wisconsin, wildlife officials say. It's not just the price of eggs, this article says, that's being affected by bird flu, with Wisconsin wildlife officials suspect that highly contagious avian influenza has killed hundreds of wild birds across the state in recent months. And they're hopeful the pace will slow as summer approaches. Well, it's good to hope. In mid-December, we had an uptick of sick and dead geese and swans in a number of counties. Says Jasmine Batten. Sorry, my computer's being very slow here. Bird flu outbreaks have historically slowed in summer months, and Batten said that she's hopeful that will happen again this year. She also said it's tough to tell what species the disease will continue to affect. It's really hard to predict with this virus. This virus is not the same as it was when it started in 2022. There's multiple strains. There's lots of genetic shift. Some birds of prey, including falcons and eagles, as well as
Crystal is gone, fortunately. That's okay. Crystal be right back. We have lots of stuff going on today. We've got even more from the quick takes on H5N1 from CIDRAP. The University of Minnesota reports that quick takes on H5N1 death in Mexico, Kenya, cholera outbreaks, H5N1 virus in cows, poultry, and cats. A little scary. The 3-year-old, she's now died. In a statement, the government official said the girl died due to respiratory complications of her illness. She's the first one. The girl contracted the virus, or what H5N1 genotype was involved. They're not sure how she got it or which genotype it is. Severe illness was reported in late 2024 in a Canadian teen. Remember that Canadian teen? It was bad. What happened over there with that poor little Canadian? And we have the cholera outbreak in Kenya. I had to look this up, but cholera is also an illness reported in 3 countries. Is also a zoonotic disease. You could get it from eating shellfish or other animals or drinking infected water where infected animals have pooped and peed. It's pretty gross, right? Yeah, it's really nasty. So we have this 97 cases have been reported, 6 of them fatal. Ugh. Nairobi County, this west central part of the country. Officials have stepped up surveillance and are urging community members to report cases quickly. In a recent cholera update, the World Health Organization said Africa has currently experienced the highest burden this year, with 14 countries reporting cases, mostly from South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Angola. Oh, man. So, I mean, you got to worry about cholera too. You probably don't have to worry about cholera unless you eat fish or shellfish. You might get cholera. It's a nasty business. I hope you don't get it. I looked up cholera, how to get it. Some cases, cholera can be transmitted with from infected animals to humans. This is known as zoonotic transmission. For example, people can become infected by consuming raw or undercooked shellfish contaminated with Vibrio cholerae from infected animals. It's important to note that most cases of cholera are not transmitted through animals. The majority of cases occur due to poor sanitation and contaminated water sources. Weird, but it is zoonotic. While humans are the primary host for cholera, it can infect aquatic animals such as shellfish and fish. Gross.
Sorry, I'm not sure why I was just logged off for some reason.
I don't know.
But why are you talking about cholera now?
Oh, because it was in the SID rap that, so in it mentions the outbreaks, right? And they talked about the 3-year-old girl from Mexico, but right under it's also cholera, and cholera is also considered a zoonotic disease. I just thought it was kind of interesting. And then it mentions bird flu again. So out of the 3 outbreaks that they're watching, United States Department of Agriculture, so one of them's cholera and 2 of them are bird flu. APHIS reported 3 more H5N1 avian flu detections in dairy cattle from Idaho, pushing the national total to 1,005 and Idaho's total to 52. APHIS confirmed 2 more detections in poultry flocks, both at commercial farms, one at turkey farm in South Dakota and another one in Wisconsin. I always say Wisconsin. They always say Wisconsin. The agency also reported 8 more confirmations in other mammals, including pet cats from 3 states, California, Colorado, and Ohio. Man. Oh, and the mink. I keep on hearing about mink and skunk in Texas. Who's going out there testing skunk? Wow.
I mean, if they are found dead on the side of the road or whatever, might as well test
them, huh? Yeah, I guess they must. I didn't know they would be testing the dead skunks. But yeah, I keep on reading about minks. Minks are basically gain of function farms. That's all they're really horrendous and great places for people to get bird flu. You trying to do this one? There you go.
Oh, I don't know if we clicked it at the same time. I think.
There you go.
All right. So I don't know if you heard Cal-Maine Foods release their earnings report. So I just pulled up some Cal-Maine tweets.
I've been excited to hear about it. Do you have any takeaways?
Well, I guess the profits were not as high as Wall Street expected. And Cal-Maine's like, we're under investigation, blah, 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 for price fixing, blah, blah, blah. But they announced quarterly profits of $509 million, more than 3 times what it made a year ago. It caps 3 years of extraordinary earnings, which have surged since the avian flu outbreak began in 2022. And Robert Reich also was tweeted about this whole thing, and
Robert Reich, he was like the finance secretary or something. Who was he? He worked under Obama, right?
Under Clinton, Obama, yeah, I think under Clinton. But yeah, he's always been great. He always has really good takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. And
oh my God, he worked under Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter as well. As Secretary of Labor, and he was in the cabinet of Bill Clinton. He's been around for a long time, that guy.
Top 5 egg producers own roughly half of all U.S. egg-laying hens. The biggest of those corporations is Cal-Maine, which just announced quarterly profits of $509 million, more than 3 times what it made a year ago. Corporate concentration plus bird flu equals a price hiking free for all. And of course, we really, all these tweets, I just got off work, so I didn't have time to do this, although I did comment under Robert Reichs, and I just pointed out, and we gave them $44 million of our money while they're making record profits. What do we get in return for that?
I don't know what we get, and I'm starting to wonder what we get for any of our taxes right now. It's tax season, Crystal, and I'm thinking about this a lot. $44 million going to Cal-Maine. What the heck?
I know. We basically are giving our tax dollars to enrich the largest corporations. And tariffs, though, like, anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Well, haven't you heard we're not going to pay taxes anymore because of the tariffs? Great news. I won't have to pay any more taxes.
What? How does that work?
Well, like one of the schemes of the you could put your your tin foil hat on, but like, okay, so one of the reasons for tariffs is that we can tax people. We got to pay for the tax cuts, right? So we already know that there have been lots of tax cuts, mostly for the rich. But in order to pay for them and still provide any services, we have to cut services to the people and raise money for the government to run. And so that's where tariffs come in. So, but the long run would be if Trump wants to go back to like 18, what is he always pulls out some random like 1813, the richest time in our lives, the richest time in America was 18 whatever.
Really? Well, I don't know. I would rather be, I think, poor nowadays than like a rich person back then.
Yeah. Also, per capita GDP is not the only thing to go by. Okay. So here's the thing: if you could get rid of taxes, so nobody pays any taxes, okay, Crystal, that sounds like a good idea, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
because you still have to pay for all the services the government provides, like roads and military and all the stuff that we can all agree we sort of need. Even though you might disagree with how much goes to each one, we can basically all agree that the government needs to provide services to the people. So we need to pay for that somehow. So we just put tariffs on everything coming in. So you and I might get a few $1,000s a raise every year because we're not paying taxes anymore, right? We'll get more money every year taking home, but all of our goods and services will be way more expensive. Do you see? So it really is great if you were a billionaire, you don't care how much, I don't know, what an egg costs, right? Because there's only so many eggs you can eat. And a percentage of it's such a low percentage of how much money you're taking home, it doesn't matter. But for you and me, it would be a lot. Life would just be more expensive. It would be really painful. But to the rich, they're making out like bandits if we tariff but don't tax. The idea being that rather than have a proportional taxation where you have the very rich who are getting more services, they pay more, and the poor who are basically they don't have any money to pay, they pay less, then everything goes by how much you're buying. And so the theory would be that you buy more, you pay more via tariff.
Yeah. I want to listen to hold on. Do you see my screen still? I want to listen to what this guy says, if the Twitter machine will allow it. Well, if it
usually doesn't do.
Will it play the sound?
I don't know. I'm not hearing sound. Are you playing it yet?
Hold on, I'm not playing it yet. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
I wonder if there's... Nope. Well.
Maybe if you share the tab instead of a window, sometimes that works.
Nah, not worth it. Moving on.
Okay.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, so Cal-Maine said they didn't make as much as they thought they would, but are they still up?
Yeah, 3 times their revenue from last year. Yeah, no.
And they're still disappointed.
They're not, nobody's disappointed. They're just didn't match the Wall Street's expectations, which doesn't mean anything. Wall Street was just guessing. I wonder what Cal-Maine's report's going to say. And Cal-Maine's like, actually, it was this much.
But it was still triple what it was last year.
Yeah, I'm surprised going on Twitter and just reading the latest tweets how few people are talking about this. I would just think more people would be talking about it, but I'm glad like Robert Reich is.
You should start a hashtag right now, and anybody on Twitter can go and retweet it.
Start a hashtag right now? I mean, I don't think I have the platform to start a hashtag, right? Like,
yeah, but if you start a hashtag, then people who are in the chat right now could find it easily. They just search for the hashtag, and they can go, "Oh, that was Crystal's tweet," and then they can go.
Or you can just look for my tweets.
Or you can go at Crystal's and try to. Do you have a tweet out about this? Because the only thing I could find was your Robert Reich response.
Yeah, no, I haven't like tweeted. I've tweeted a bunch about Cal-Maine all this week, you know, in anticipation of this, but I haven't tweeted about this thing because I'm hoping there's supposed to be an article out a couple of days ago with our work, and still waiting on it. So, well, I was going to tweet that once it came out. So,
dang it.
This is the company share fell more than 4% in after-hours trading here. This was back in April 8th, talking about the price of eggs.
I wonder if there's are they being hit by the financial downturn that the recession that we're all in right all of a sudden? I mean, are they being
I mean, they were up when this whole thing hit. Like, while the stock market was crashing, their stocks were they you know had 1.5% increase. Like, so they've
oh my gosh,
their stocks has been doing really well all year.
So they're not worried.
Said its sales nearly doubled to 1.42 billion in its fiscal third quarter, which ended March 1st. The company said that was primarily due to higher egg prices, which averaged $4.06 per dozen during the quarter. Cal-Maine's sales fell short of Wall Street's forecast of 1.43 billion. Oh, so it was only 1.42 billion, not 1.43 billion, like Wall Street expected. So Cal-Maine said it sold a record 331.4 million dozen eggs in the third quarter, a 10% increase from the same period a year ago. 10% increase. Well, that's not good. Cal-Maine said its third quarter net income more than tripled to 508.5 million compared to the same period a year ago.
Jeez.
The profit of
Crystal just logged out again. What's going on, Crystal? Crystal's something's going on with her internet. Is there an internet outage in Los Angeles, California? I don't know, but I feel like we should look at this while she's coming back. This is bound to happen from time to time. Here we go. A second. Why is this? There we go. Let's go. Bird flu. Let's see the stuff about bird flu.
Concerns about bird flu.
61 people have been infected.
The disease is becoming more proficient at replicating in human cells.
Bird flu, also known as avian influenza, is a virus.
It's becoming more proficient at replicating inside of human cells. Why am I the only one who's worried? Am I the only one who's worried about this? I feel like I'm the only one. I'm sorry, everybody.
Virus that primarily spreads between birds. We've seen over 166 million birds killed across the U.S. by bird flu. We've also seen bird flu infect dairy cows, and it's killed one elderly individual in Louisiana. In late January 2020.
Well, one in Louisiana, but then there's one in Mexico now. We've got two in North America. Multiple human deaths now this year from bird flu.
25. I flew down to Texas, which is the first state where bird flu was detected in dairy cows. I met with fourth generation dairy farmer Joe Canal.
Man, I think I met this guy,
And
Joe.
toured his farm for a day. He told me that he thinks the federal government needs.
No, I don't know that guy. I met a cattleman. I met a Texas cattleman over in the VMX. It wasn't this guy though. It was a different cattleman.
To be providing more financial resources for poultry or dairy farmers that are hit with bird flu. These farmers want the general public to understand the financial pressures that they're under should bird flu hit their farms, and the potential government oversight that could expose them to.
What do you think? Government oversight that's going to expose them to? Bloomberg gets to what's real. Do we want government oversight? What do you think, Crystal?
Yes, at least something, but currently the government oversight is all industry coordinated, which isn't good. But yeah, there needs to be some sort of regulation that's separate from the industry.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we need to maybe have some major oversight, seeing as how they're warehousing all of these animals in conditions that are gain of function research. The gain of function. What did RFK Jr. call it? Mutant factories? They're mutant factories. When that Robert Reich thing that you were looking at before on Twitter, I looked at the comments and there was one guy that's just like, I'm sick of you people. Biden killed all these 166 million birds. It's such a weird thing because wasn't stamping them out and mass depopulation the same thing they did for foot and mouth disease? Isn't that the status quo? Isn't that the plan?
Yep.
So it's not president specific. It's so why okay, hold on. Regardless of party or politician, okay, do you think I'm going to try to make this not political at all. Does it matter who the president? Why are we always making public health issues political issues? Does that seem like something new in your life? Because you're a little younger than I am. Does that seem like something new? It seems like something new to me.
I'm a little younger than you are. I'm not that much younger than you are.
You're like half my age.
I'm like 2 years younger than you.
I was trying to pay you a compliment, Crystal. Take it easy. I'm trying to be nice.
Trying to make me sound naive and young and vulnerable.
No, that's not what I was trying to say that you're never mind, forget it. I try to be nice and that's what I get. No matter what. This is why nice guys don't what do guys say? What do incels always say? This is why nice guys, I don't know. I was trying to be nice. Anyway,
okay.
The point is, okay, you old lady, since your
experience, your life experience and education, why anything in the news is turned political. And I wonder, it'd be interesting to look back into the history, like the Spanish flu, and see if they made that political. It was a political thing. We kind of know it was a political thing because it's called the Spanish flu because Spain was the only one talking about it because they didn't have really a dog in the fight of World War I. And right. They're like, hey, we're dealing with this flu. And they're like, and everybody else didn't want to talk about it because they didn't want to appear weak and vulnerable, like they were getting sick. So that's why it's called the Spanish flu. So it's always been political, and there's always this, like, you got to be tough and the strong will survive. And if you're dying, you're just a weak, whatever. And then there's the class that wants to protect others and take care of others. And,
if we could go to more kind of like this, the last 100 years, I would relate more to the HIV pandemic or epidemic, and people made that political, I suppose. It was like, oh, it's just they called it gay related. They called it GRID for a long time, gay related immune deficiency. I guess that's political. You're right. Instead of making it but once it was, okay, it's affecting everybody and it was commonplace, they treated it like a public health issue, because that's what it was. You started seeing ads everywhere. Take precautions, safe sex advertisements. People were singing songs about let's talk about sex, baby. They had
I
all these
guarantee you Republicans aren't singing those songs.
You don't think so? It was on MTV. I guess, do
Yeah,
Republicans watch
I
MTV?
don't think it was a conservative thing. I don't think any conservatives have really embraced public health outreach like that.
Interesting. Why do you think that is? Is it a conservative thing to not embrace public health outreach? It's so interesting. So, I had this friend who went into a clinic, and it was because he thought he had chlamydia, and he goes in and he thought, well, he had been with a woman who had chlamydia. He had no symptoms or anything. He just went into the clinic. He's like, hey, here's the deal. I've had contact. I don't have any symptoms. And they're like, well, we're going to treat the chlamydia whether you got it or not. Do you want the test? And he's like, what do you mean? He goes, whether the test is positive or negative, we're still going to treat it. And they're like, so my friend's like, sure. Well, he didn't even take the test. They didn't test it. They just gave him
That's so silly. Like, don't you want to know the rates of positive chlamydia tests in your area? Why are you not testing? That's silly. Yeah,
so check this out. So here's what they said. They said, if you we're not even gonna put in your chart that you had chlamydia or that we treated chlamydia. We are now treating with this because it's like penicillin. It's a type of antibiotic. So they treat him with this antibiotic, but they said that he had a urinary tract disorder or some other thing.
God, that's really ridiculous.
Because the insurance wouldn't cover the chlamydia, but it would cover the other because it's a public health issue instead of a. He says the medicine's not covered if it's chlamydia, but if it's a urinary tract infection, it's covered.
That's ridiculous. And that's how there's so much missing information about what's going on in our world and public health because of just stuff like that.
Policies like that. Yep. Because he was at a clinic and it wasn't coming out of his insurance. So he wasn't using his private insurance. He was using the clinic, and the clinic couldn't have it. He would have to pay out of pocket, basically, if he was So they didn't even test him. They're like, yeah, you've had contact with chlamydia, you're gonna get this penicillin or whatever antibiotic they use.
Yeah.
So I guess you're right, but is that a conservative point of view that I want to have? It's so weird to me. It's such a foreign concept to me. How do we get Joe Rogan to say that conservatives need to care about public health issues?
Is that we want everybody to care about public health issues? That's
yeah, but if public health outreach isn't happening because of conservative pushback. Yeah, Fishfield Payne says just Googled and Cal-Maine CEO received $375,000 and made over $1 million in compensation for 2024. Yep, and he's not even the highest paid. He's just the one that's publicly paid. They pay him, and everyone sees it. Rayapan says, I asked what Crystal Heath said about Cal-Maine to Gemini. It did find it. Oh. I don't know what that means, but awesome.
Yeah. What did it find? What did I say? What did it say that I said?
What did it say?
That's
so we're going to transition to advocacy in a second, but like, how do we get people to do public health outreach? How do we make that it shouldn't be an anti-conservative thing. It should be just a conservative. Why would a conservative not want public health outreach?
I think there's just this belief of like if you get sick, it's your own fault. That's a very conservative idea that if God's smiting you, that's the whole thing. So.
Oh, you think it's the God thing? See, I guess you're right that I was raised in a conservative family, and there's still a piece of me, I gotta be honest, Crystal, that if I get sick, I'm like, I go through, I must not have washed my hands enough. I must have done this wrong. I must have done that wrong. I blame myself every time. It can never be like, well, people get sick and this is my turn. It's always, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
It's because I'm conservative, isn't it? Personal responsibility.
Maybe if you grew up that way. Yeah.
It's what it is.
It's like if you're
generational
healthy,
trauma.
it means that you're a good person. And if you get sick, it means that you did something bad or sinister or whatever.
Yeah, you're reminding me. So I had this super conservative HR lady at a place that I worked, and we worked really closely. We knew each other very well, and she came down with COVID, and she was crying how embarrassed she was by it, and I felt my heart went out to her. I was really upset because of how embarrassed she was and how I'm on a cry thinking about it now. She really felt horrible for having contracted bird flu, and I'm like, a lot of people, everyone's getting bird flu, lady, don't worry about it. But she blamed herself.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the last thing you want to do. I don't know.
Some people need to blame themselves for some things, but I don't know, maybe not that.
Maybe not.
Blame yourself for having a kid that you don't want. Blame yourself for not using birth control or getting sterilized. Don't.
Accidents happen too, you know? Accidents happen. Everyone's out there practicing.
Days and age, like, I don't know. I don't know how accidents happen. It's pretty easy to prevent.
The good Lord works in mysterious ways, Crystal, and you know, I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't happen the right way. Like I would.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
There's a.
I don't know how this keeps happening.
I don't know. I would love to have kids, but I'm afraid because of you know, I'm afraid that
you would love to have kids.
You know, I think I've thought about it my whole life, like everybody else, right? And I would probably do it, but I'm worried about the state of the earth. I'm worried about the world. I'm worried about how you would pay for it if everything's getting more expensive. Like even when I was making good money, I was like, how the hell am I ever going to pay for a kid in this world? And now it's just things are getting more expensive, not less. It's just getting worse. You know, like you have a kid and they're born with plastic in them and all sorts of stuff is going on. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how normal people would afford to have kids. It seems like a lot of work. Like I don't even have time in my day to take care of myself. I don't know how you could possibly also have time to take care of kids.
I'm guessing most people, they have family members do it mostly. They have family members watch the kid while they're at work. They have family members help them feed the kid. They all
become a burden on your family members.
They usually want it, right? Like living parents.
Guilt them into that. Yeah. Because they don't want to turn it down and be bad people by like imagine that you raise your kids, you finally retire and you're like, oh, I'm done. Finally I can like live my life. And then your kids have kids. And then they're like, here, you take care of this thing too.
But isn't that what most grandparents want? What's like, doesn't what most parents, they want to have the grandkids? Pretty normal. That's not
people in the chat.
Yes.
Is that true?
People in the chat, do you think that parents generally want their kids to have kids? They want grandkids. Of course they do. That's normal.
Chat, have you ever accidentally gotten somebody pregnant or became pregnant accidentally? Is that a thing that happens? You chat are not very interesting people here.
Yeah, what do you mean? Just because they're not telling you about their accidental pregnancies?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, has anybody ever had an accidental pregnancy? Normal or not normal, having your parents annoy you about having kids, I think that's pretty normal. Yeah.
No, nobody's, I keep hearing this trope of like, I don't have kids. Why does everybody keep bugging me about having kids? Literally nobody's bugged me about not having kids because I think they just like, no, I would be a horrible parent. And they're just like, yeah, thank God she doesn't have kids. Like nobody's ever bugged me about that.
Never.
Never.
Your whole life, no one's ever been like, when are you gonna have some kids?
Yeah, never.
But you're
You
not
know,
married. But if you were married, people would constantly be asking you, so when are you going to have kids?
yeah.
I know, yeah, but never had an accidental pregnancy. Okay, Kathy, never had an accidental. My mom is begging me to have a kid. LOL. Yeah, they
Karina,
do
do
that.
you want a child?
Shit.
It's
I
okay.
wish we weren't talking about this all of a sudden.
We don't have to talk
Let's
about
see,
it.
Trump admin eyes new strategy in fighting bird flu.
Unveiling a new strategy in fighting bird flu.
In late February 2025, the Trump administration's Agriculture Department announced a $1 billion investment in bird flu response. But public health experts that I've spoken with caution that recent actions by the Trump administration may have potentially ensnared bird flu response, and they are concerned about the fallout from that.
Elon Musk leading the Doge
Ensnared bird flu response. They've ensnared it. Okay.
efforts to downsize the government. The list of laid off federal workers continues to grow.
The Agriculture Department accidentally laid off some staff that were involved in bird flu response. This included some individuals who were working at an office that coordinated bird flu testing.
This guy, wait a second. Is he literally testing an animal for bird flu without a mask?
This guy?
Yeah.
With his like mask below his chin.
Yes.
That's a really good clip. Somebody screen record that. That's a good one.
What in the heck?
Wow.
I'm gonna download this and use it. I wonder why vets keep getting bird flu.
Vets keep getting bird flu? That's not proven by the data that I'm aware of.
Well, was it that? Didn't they find that that many vets had?
No,
bird
they only
flu
found
antibodies?
that 3 of the vets that they tested had antibodies, and all 3 of them, like only I think 1 of them worked at a place that was depopulating. So it was like vets don't really actually have that much of a risk, as what that data showed.
But 3 out of how many?
Like 100 and something.
Oh, this guy's gonna get it. I think he is not practicing protocol. This is not. Man, this is how you get written up at work right here. This is how this happens right here. Someone like me going, hey, what's going on here? He's going to get a write-up. I like kids. I wouldn't mind, but I'm with Sky on finances. It would be selfish if I did it right now. Yeah. I like kids. Kids are fun. You can play catch with them. You can bring them to school. Man, so Karina works at a school, and I'm like, I see all the kids going to school, and I think, man, it's kind of nice, all these kids learning and all the new stuff they're probably learning, they're probably learning new ways of doing math that I didn't even know how to do. I wonder how they're doing it. They're doing all weird, different shit that I didn't learn. I wonder what books they're reading in school these days. I think about stuff like that because they're probably not reading the same books that I read when I was in school. I wonder if they're reading Shakespeare still. I wonder, but I'll never really know unless I go work at a school, I guess. I don't know. But I don't. Yeah,
or you talk to like there's so many like your friends' kids and find out what their deal is and
I don't
take
have
care
any friends with kids right now. Let me think.
Okay.
I don't really have. Oh, I do have some friends. So, but here's the other issue though. Like I just made me think. Like I have friends, but then everyone's kids got the tism these days, and so like all my friends, they got like they're not. I don't think I have any friends that just has like a normal standard issue kid. Is that weird? What the hell? Now that I think of it, I've got like 3 different friends with kids that are on the spectrum. They're not, or going to special schools and stuff. That makes me even more worried to have a kid.
You're going to have a kid with autism. Yeah.
Or worse, like the kids that Karina works with, those kids will never have their own apartment. They'll never have. Really? Yeah. They'll never have their own. Yeah, right. Isn't that to me it's tragic. Like you have a kid and they're never going to be a full autonomous adult. But then again, how many people really are? I know other people that are in their 30s living with their parents. So, it's
so sad, this world.
That's what I mean. We should change the name of this podcast to Sick Sad World and how to catch bird flu.
Testing nationwide. The Agriculture Department, they're attempting to rehire those individuals, but it has not made clear whether it's actually brought all of the people it mistakenly fired back into office. In addition, there's been some concern that some of Trump's executive orders have frozen federal funds that would assist or expand bird flu research.
Stymied by Trump. This is the Bloomberg. Bloomberg's pretty conservative. Pretty conservative outlet.
Additionally, there has been some concern that the Trump administration has frozen public correspondence about the status of bird flu.
The Trump administration has told federal health agencies to pause external communications.
That includes regular scientific reports, updates to websites, and health advisories.
The Trump administration did eventually release the bird flu studies, but public health officials say they're not being updated at the same frequency as the previous administration. We'll be watching to see whether any additional layoffs within federal agencies, any pauses to more.
What do you think, Crystal? Oh, Crystal's gone again. Dang it. I thought the Crystal was still here with me. Well, I mean, sick, sad world would always give you plenty of topics to cover. LOL. Indeed. Crystal, are you with me? Do you guys think that I should do video? I should do video like this guy in a white room and just 2 cameras on me. Should be easy, right? The guy also looks like he's like 20 years old. Crystal, I don't know how much you saw of that, but
No.
do you think the CDC not releasing information as quickly as it was before?
Oh shit! What happened there?
I don't know what you saw.
My computer is just totally crapping out here. I think I need to buy a new MacBook before the tariffs hit. I wonder what MacBook prices are right now.
Tariffs hit today, don't they? I keep that sound restarting again. Maybe you should get a non-Macintosh product since you could try something new.
I don't know. I've had non-Macintosh products in the past and they weren't as good. So not as fast, not all the things. So
she says as she gets kicked off the stream once again by her computer.
Yeah, well, this computer that I'm on right now is 8 years old and it's burning up right now. My other one, I poured a bunch of water on it. So that's the deal there.
You sound like a conservative blaming yourself for being sick.
Yeah.
So it's my own fault. I did this to
myself. How old's your computer?
I bought this it's 5 years old.
Yeah. So I'm on an older computer.
I bought my computer with my stimmy. I bought it with my stimmy.
Your stimulus check? I never got a stimulus check.
I got a stimmy check and I bought a computer with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It looks like the MacBook Pros are still pretty cheap. So I think I'm just going to buy one.
I was thinking, I was working and I was like, you know what? This stimulus check is there to stimulate the economy. I'm going to immediately buy something in order to do my part for America. I'm not joking. That's literally what I thought at the time. I thought,
wow. I gotta support the corporations.
I wasn't thinking about the corporations. I was thinking about the people. Like you have to have motion. You have to have cash flow. When you have just everything frozen, everything starts to die. You have to have money changing hands. So I'm like, I'm going to go buy a computer. At least I know I need one of those, so I bought one. Rather than a lot of people put it into savings, But yeah, I don't know what everyone else did with their stimmy check. I had never met anyone I wouldn't want to have a kid with when I was intact.
Never met anybody. Oh, they would want to have a kid with.
Yeah.
I thought I said wouldn't want to have a kid with, and I was like, whoa.
Apple is they're Trump financiers. That's true, but Crystal doesn't mind that. She doesn't mind supporting
all big companies are Trump financiers. I don't know what to tell you.
There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. So anyway, Bloomberg says that Trump is screwing the pooch, which I just found that interesting because Bloomberg is a conservative outlet and they're really concerned, it seems, with bird flu and the handling of it this year. So things are changing. I'd like to encourage everybody to go to SavePluto.org and sign an article, sign a letter to the Disney people about stopping their fireworks displays.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get people to figure out that if we could, Disney's the one that made fireworks so popular in America, and people, they hate their neighbors blowing up fireworks during these holidays. But I feel like outside the holidays, it's so hard. We need to be doing something outside of these holidays. We can't wait till July 3rd to complain about fireworks. We have to take it on head on. And I need people to sign this article so we can, letter, so we can send it to Disney. So please go to savepluto.org and sign it.
But honestly, like, this campaign has not really been working, and people don't seem very enthusiastic about it. So are people more enthusiastic about banning fireworks in their local municipalities? Is that what people want to do?
I don't know. I mean, if people are a lot of municipalities, they ban them anyway, but they still do their annual displays. They still do their displays during the holidays. You know,
what if we banned that though?
Ban the displays from the municipalities. Yeah. I mean, I like that idea. I like it, but it seems fractured. It's hard to get people to kind of gang up. Then everybody would have to break up and try to do their own little cities. It just seems like a much bigger.
We could focus our energy on cities and municipalities where there's somebody who's really passionate about it and lives there and wants to lead the charge. But it seems like nobody's interested. So should we move on to other things? Should we abandon this campaign? What do people in the chat think?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Should we continue? Because I don't know. I was working on a script for a new just at speaking to the camera script about the Disney ban, and I still think it would work. I still think it's a good idea. It's just that it's just hard for people to, I think we're also running into the fact that people are pissed about all sorts of other stuff. Like, it's hard to get people to even think about anything when their 401k is getting destroyed. And this is, I'm worried. Is that something that we're going to be dealing with when it comes to animal advocacy? That there's just too much for people now that Trump has flooded the zone, and there's people marching against what is perceived to be a fascist overtaking of our government. I mean, what do you think? I mean, there was do people have the bandwidth? Ban fireworks. Ban. Yeah, but we're talking about what should we do with should we keep on working on the Disney ban if we're not going to, there's not going to be, it's just difficult to get momentum.
And when we say difficult to get momentum, difficult to get any of you watching right now to do anything to help us is what we mean. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Because we only have 57 signers. And even if, some of you shared this with 10 people, we'd have a lot more signers, but you aren't doing that. So I think should we not do this anymore?
Yeah. I mean, you want to hear my short script? You want me to do it for you? Let me practice. Okay. Hey, friends. That's the beginning. Hey, friends. I need your help. Every night, Disney launches fireworks, and every night, animals panic, birds flee their nests, dogs cower under beds, wildlife runs into traffic. Also, tourists can see a 5-minute light show. I get it. Fireworks look magical, but they cause real harm. And the worst part, when Disney does it, it tells the world it's okay. So copycats light them off everywhere. But it doesn't have to be this way. Disney already has the tech to do better. Drones, lasers, projection shows. It can be just as magical without hurting anyone. If Disney makes the switch, others will follow. So we're asking them to lead, again, with compassion this time. Go to savepluto.org and sign the letter. Magic shouldn't hurt. Let's help Pluto. What do you think?
I don't know. I just don't think. What do you all in the chat think? I just don't think it's going to inspire anybody. Nobody wants to go up against Disney. Nobody wants to criticize Disney in any way. Disney's doing fireworks right, according to most people. And
According to most people, I don't think most people even consider it. That's the thing. I think it's like we have to. We're talking about something that most people haven't even considered, kind of like ventilation shutdown. It's like we're talking about something that people haven't even. It's not even in their realm of understanding whatsoever. They're like, ventilation what? And we have to explain it to them.
But ventilation shutdown is such a horrible thing when people hear about it. They like, it changes their minds. It got, we got 2,000 veterinarians to sign on. This is like, all right, people don't realize, are any animals hurting because of fireworks? Like, nobody's complaining about the Disney fireworks. It's just not something people care about, and it's not harming that many animals. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's so weird to think that, like, okay, well, we don't like fireworks. Okay. And then people go, well, what if we have quieter fireworks? Or what if I don't know, why don't we just make them uncool? Like, it's just, it seems so weird that we're not able to just see that there's these mega companies that are making it acceptable. They're making it okay for everyone to do it. And people, and I don't know, it's like, oh, I just don't like it. What are we going to do about it? Nothing. No one wants to do anything.
But if I'm pulling the plug on this campaign, unless people in the chat care and want to see it continue, because it seems like a waste of time and energy if nobody cares about it. When there's other things we could be working on, like Viticus Group is killing animals in their CE, and they won't respond to our emails asking what's going on. Where do you source your dogs from for your labs? And I think, can we get more veterinarians, more people to send emails to Viticus Group, seeing if they'll respond and seeing if they'll at least tell us where they get their dogs from.
So tell us about the Viscous Group. Maybe it's something we should think about more. Ray Upon says, yeah, I don't like fireworks. My dog Lambie used to shiver for several days during Diwali, but somehow it doesn't make me jump to action. I think that's something that a lot of people, like, this is the thing. The reason why we started this was because so many people said they cared about it. And we're like, okay, great, let's do something about it. But then we go and do something about it, and no one shares it. It's just like crickets. Okay, well, I guess we need to try something that people actually care about. People claim to care about their dogs and cats, but turns out, or about the fires in California that were caused by fireworks, Plus, I thought it was great too, because we're talking about, we have a solution on deck. The drone shows, the projection shows, the laser shows. There's so many things in animal rights where we're like, okay, well, what do we do? You just want everyone to go vegan? No, we have an actual solution, and Disney already knows the solution. It seems like such a layup. But tell me about the Viscous Group. I want to know more about that.
Viticus Group. So for all of the vets out there who went to the Western Veterinary Conference and participated in their wet labs, a lot of vets noticed that, hey, these dead animals that we're practicing on are all young beagles. This is making us feel really sad. Like, these aren't animals who are elderly and who were donated after they died by their caretakers, by their family, to train veterinarians in these procedures. These seem like they were purpose bred and killed for Viticus Group to use in our wet labs. And we did not sign up for that. Like, we thought Viticus Group was an ethical company and, used ethical sourcing, but these dogs seem like they were bred at a biosciences company. And this doesn't sit well with us. And so people reached out to Viticus Group and asked, hey, can you tell us how you source your dogs? And nobody from Viticus Group responded. So what
So
do
can we
we
back
do
up a
now?
second though? Because so I just found out about Viticus Group at VMX, and they do some kind of education. So is this part of your CE? Like you're a veterinarian, and you're like, I want to learn how to operate better, and so you sign up with Viticus Group, and you go to these quote unquote wet labs, and they've
Yeah, they're
got
at the conferences. There's like a wet lab. You pay extra money for it, and you participate and you do these actual labs. So, but yeah, many veterinarians were concerned about this. And so we drafted a letter to them, and so far have not heard back. So hopefully maybe we could get more people to send emails and ask what they're doing. So does anybody want to help with that? And especially any veterinarians watching?
Yeah, maybe veterinarians would like to send emails to the Viticus Group and help find out more. I mean, it could be just, I mean, that's a nice one, right? It's a way to get more information that we need. Viticus Group, they're doing something in Vegas and Nashville. Vegas in 2026 and Nashville in August. The Viticus Center, a unique experience for medical professionals. We offer more courses that operate in real-world environments, more certification and specialized surgical training opportunities, and more access to cutting-edge technology for veterinary and human health professionals. Wow, they do human health professional. They do human stuff too. So Viticus can where do they source the humans that they operate on?
Who knows what they do for that? That's interesting. I posted the link to the template of the letter. So maybe people will sign on, email a letter, and there's email addresses there, and ask them and see if they'll respond to you. I'm going to send another email right now to them and see if they respond. And just say hey, I haven't heard, hoping you can answer my question. Long Island University also asked them how they source their animals, and they never got back to me either. So that's really concerning.
Okay, so can you tell us what is the right way and wrong way to source these animals?
I think when an animal gets older and it's time for them to pass on, their caretakers can donate their bodies, and that's ethical sourcing. Like they're going to, be euthanized because their quality of life has declined. That's fine. If they are purposefully bred and raised in a biosciences company and then purchased by a company to kill for their wet labs, I think that's unethical. What do you guys think?
So when my mom had a dog that died, she would always say, donate the body to science. Do you think that the dog's body would go to a place like Viticus then?
Yeah, depending on what she used. Yeah, what the thing went to. Do you know where she donated the body to?
No, I know that when she because we had lots of dogs and a lot of them ended up older, some got put to sleep for other reasons and stuff, and then they always said donate the body to science, and my mom always said, I mean, I was just a kid for most of that, so I don't know, but I mean, I guess when you say you donate your dog to science, I guess she did say that it was so that veterinarians can practice on animals. She said that actually. So maybe went to a company like Viticus. Is Viticus the only show in town, or do they have competition?
Oh no, I think there's many, but I think they're the biggest one.
So they're so big, they might actually be buying animals bred for the purpose of killing, and they grow them just so that they can operate on them, just so they can euthanize them.
I have no idea. It's weird that they're not responding to me, when I'm just asking this question. So that's that. That's what I'm wondering about.
Yeah, maybe this is something that we could find out more about. It should be pretty easy. We all just write emails and we get some veterinarians, some DVMs out there to do it. Should be easy, right?
Yeah. So will you guys send a letter? Will you help us?
Kathy
I'm
says that
sending
she'll
one
send
right
an email.
now. Okay, cool.
We at least got one who will send an email. Let's see if anybody else will send an email. The link is already in the chat. If you're one of the many people watching on Twitter right now, you can just pop on over to either the Facebook or the YouTube and get the link right there. Nice template, says Karina. She's about to send the email. So we got 2 emails sent.
I'm sending one right now too.
If your animal has a terminal illness and you're comfortable donating the body to science, that's okay. But when the animals are bred to be used that way, that's definitely unethical, says Lateral Alice. Yeah, that seems unethical to me too. Like, we're just farming bodies at that point. It seems bizarre that would be the case. But I'm glad that there's veterinarians out there that they're stepping up and they're saying, well, they don't want to have this done anymore.
Yeah, it really, like, I think people just attended these wet labs and were like, well, this is fun. And then seeing these young beagles, they were like, oh, this is now, I didn't sign up for this. And now it's like too late to like back out or say anything.
Young beagles. Maybe they were used in testing, like, because they do smoke tests and stuff on, inhalation tests on beagles. Maybe they
still do that.
Yeah, they were doing it. Fauci was doing it during COVID.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
I would love to see any report of that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw something recently where they were training beagles.
Was it from some animal rights group spreading lies and propaganda again?
Sure, that must
I'm
be
not going to believe it until I see it.
They had the masks on, and the dogs were being
Did they
trained
have
to
screws
wear the
in their
mask.
head too?
because that never happens, right?
Not until I see it with, like, let me see the footage, and else I'm just going to think it's just animal rights propaganda.
I mean, any video of animals being harmed is animal rights propaganda. Is it? Yeah.
I can look at the footage and say,
by your estimation, it seems to be.
Looks real. Let me see the studies. This is supposedly published, right? So there should be studies, or there should be FOIA documents or something, like you can prove some of this. So if you have any proof of it, I'd love to see it. And here's the other thing too, when you do show footage of like horrible things being done to animals, screws in their head, all the other people who work in labs who don't do that sort of stuff, and they're just like, boring, the animals are treated well and everything's fine, are like, oh, I work in a good lab. We don't do that sort of thing to animals. So that's the conflict with the really talking about the really gruesome stuff is that most lab workers who don't work in labs where they do that sort of stuff are like, oh, I guess I work in a good one then.
These are taken at Marshall Bioresources, which is the largest U.S. breeder of dogs and ferrets for experimentation in 2024.
What's the date? 2024.
September 2024. Sorry, October 2024.
Okay.
Customers of the Marshall Bioresources have been cited by federal authorities for numerous animal welfare violations, including keeping dogs and ferrets in filthy, decrepit wire cages and failing to provide animals with adequate veterinary care. But the thing is, though, like these pictures of the dogs being trained to wear the masks, so they're not actually doing the experiments on them. They're training the dogs to wear the masks so that when they sell the dogs to the experimenters, the dogs are used to it. It cages as many as 22,000 beagles and other dogs. They sell animals to multiple federal agencies, pharmaceutical companies, and laboratories around the world. I mean, pretty standard stuff. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't seem too gruesome. It's just really, to me, it's horrible. But I think that most people look at it and it's not like screws in the head. Is that they're still training these animals to wear the masks, which makes me think.
Well, I mean, there's lots of
those
reasons to wear a mask. Like maybe they're testing inhalers to treat asthma. And,
probably that and all sorts of other stuff. I mean, when I was doing college campus tours, a lot of it was vape vape smoke, or they don't call it smoke, but like vapor, I guess, that they were testing a lot of animals on. I mean, then the beagles can wear these cones on their faces, and they can breathe in that stuff. I mean, isn't that beagles have been used for that for many years? I don't think that's stopped. But to answer your question, you're like, are they still doing that? I think that there's evidence that there's those experiments are still happening, the inhalation stuff. So maybe those animals end up quote unquote sacrificed, and then they get donated to Viticus.
Yeah,
What do you
maybe.
think?
Possibly.
Do you think that's too far? Do you think I'm is it too far fetched?
I mean, there's lots of different experiments that could be done, not just smoke inhalation experiments.
On beagles?
Yeah. Do you think beagles are only used for smoke inhalation experiments?
I don't know. I know that that's like a lot of what they're used for. I don't know what else they're used for. Yeah, because I know that ever since because all the stuff with tobacco, all those tests were done on beagles. It's something about how their lungs are supposedly just like human lungs. That's one of those things. I don't know what else they do beagles. I don't know that. What I know about beagles is that they are often used for lung stuff, lung experiments. But I also know that most animals that are tested on at the end of the trial of whatever experiment they're doing, they kill them, right? They call it sacrificing. Maybe those are the corpses that end up over at. It would explain their youth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Would that be my question? I guess is, would that be an ethical sourcing?
I don't think so, because I don't think those students don't want to learn on dogs that they don't, because when Viticus Group purchases from a company that experiments on beagles, they're supporting that system, or they're so I don't think I think a lot of veterinarians would not want to support that system. So
yeah, it's so interesting. I wonder it's an interesting ethical question, though. What do the veterinarians think? I'd love to know that answer, Crystal. Like, what do veterinarians think about let's say it's an NIH experiment, like the Fauci ones, like the COVID ones, and those dogs are all killed. And what do we do with their corpses? Do we bury them, burn them, or do we use them to train veterinarians? Because I think that if I'm going to argue critically, I would say that at least there was some good that came out of this. We were able to train veterinarians who can now save dogs because of their experience. Do you think that that's?
Yeah, I mean, that's a argument that could be made, but I would hope the veterinarians who learned on those dogs would take pictures of their bodies and talk about what they went through, and also condemn the cruel use of dogs in research while they're learning from them. So
yeah, Sensi sent an email. Kathy sent an email. We got emails going out. Awesome. Did I guess it's a fascinating thing to me when you start looking at where these animals they're in this pipeline that seems kind of hidden, doesn't it? It's behind the curtain, sort of, isn't it?
Yeah, much of this is hidden away from public view. Yeah, because the public wouldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
They're infantilizing you. Just like how dare they claim, I don't know, it's kind of,
they claim that none of us can handle it, right?
Yeah, we can't handle it. Or like if they see it, they can't look at it in context to understand what they're looking at. So it's like,
yeah, definitely. I love this Viticus campaign. Do you think we can do a Viticus campaign should we wait until we find out how they sourced it, or what are you envisioning?
Yeah, if they're not responding, like we can just every week encourage people to send more emails, and we'll start to write more about it and stuff like that and see how it goes. But, you know, again, if there's no enthusiasm for this, then we'll try to find something that there is enthusiasm for. And that's kind of the goal, is to find something that's going to bring people together to take action. Otherwise, I am perfectly happy sitting here by my lonesome, writing press releases and writing op-eds by myself and doing my own thing. Because the worst feeling in the world as an activist is feeling like you're trying to pushing a wet noodle up a hill, of like trying to get volunteers to do stuff. And I would so much rather, it's like, it feels like you're in a relationship with people who don't love you. And it's like, I'd rather be single than in a relationship with somebody who is making me feel alone. And that's how activists often make me feel. Like, if you're not, you know, joining me on this, I'd rather just do my own little thing by myself.
It's funny because I told you that before too. It's like sometimes I meet activists and I'm like, and they like, oh, I don't have time for that, or I can't do that, or no, I can't, I don't.
It's like, oh, you're saying you don't love me. Okay.
Well, and also or that you don't love this, or that you don't, I thought you liked doing this. I thought you wanted to do this. Let's do it. Like, I'm always the guy going, let's go, let's do it. Yeah. Let's go. And maybe that's to my fault. Maybe that's a detriment to myself, because I'm always like, yes, let's do it. I say yes as much as I possibly can. I just want to say yes. And I figure if I burn out, well, I wasn't planning on living very much longer anyway. So it's like, if I could just say yes to everything and do as much as I can. Someone says, this is also why I'm kind of reluctant to criticize other forms of activism, because if somebody wants to do something, I'm like, let's go, man. So much of what you're talking about
let's
is like,
go protest crumble cookies and get them to use cage-free eggs. Like,
well, I mean,
can we please criticize that campaign?
I would love to criticize that campaign, because you know what's sad about that? You know what's sad about it to me, Crystal? The saddest part about it is that they get people to show up.
I know. Yeah, how do they get people to show up, and we can't get people to show up for our like valid, worthy stuff.
And stuff that I think is like going to capture your imagination. Like I drew the Donald Duck, and I drew the Pluto, and it's like, man, I worked so hard on this. I've spent a lot of time on that. And I wrote all these things about thinking this through. I sat there journaling about it. What would be the best way to get people to care about why fire, like what is the root cause of all this fireworks stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, you look over your shoulder, you're like, let's go, everybody, and no one's there. So why crumble cookie to use cage-free eggs is crazy to me. It's like, it's a bunch of people who don't know how restaurants even work. Because I'll tell you how it works in restaurants. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
I opened up a restaurant in Las Vegas, and they put cage-free bird on their chicken sandwich. That bird was not cage-free. There's nothing on that box. I saw the chicken come into the restaurant, the boxes of breasts. There was nothing on that box that said cage-free. They just say it to make the consumer feel better, because that's all it means anyway. It's cage-free eggs. Use cage-free eggs. If Crumble had any brains right now, they'd be like, yeah, no problem. And they would just change the labels.
Yeah.
And make it all go away. Cage-free eggs at Crumble. Is that Mercy for Animals doing it? Who is doing that one?
The Humane League.
The Humane League, yeah.
It might be Mercy for Animals too. I mean, whatever. Now we've just alienated the donors.
Really?
Like, yeah. I mean, they've got big donors, and if you criticize, whatever. But it's, that's the thing. I want to be able to say what I think, and if I'm punished for it, so be it. I am perfectly happy sitting alone, getting media attention, taking pictures of farms and doing my own thing. I think that's the best use of my time versus trying to get people to do something. Like I'll do my own thing, and I'll, get things published.
But isn't the whole point of getting things published to get people to do something? to take action to open their eyes? Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, I think getting things published in major media outlets reaches the right people. I think the problem with activism often is we try to get the people who don't hold any power to help join and do things. And I often wonder if that's a waste of time. Especially wasting energy on people who are not already motivated to do stuff. And I think, the great thing about the media attention that I've gotten is very good activists who are doing really important work have reached out to me and are like, I want to figure out how to amplify this some more. And will you join on this project? That like it's caused collaboration between the people who are already very effective activists who are like reaching out to me and like, yeah, let's do this more. I think I look at like 80-20 principle, the Pareto effect, like 80% of our outcomes come from 20% of our effort. And I think we waste too much time trying to inspire people who aren't going to be effective activists anyway. Like the effective activists are going to see other like A game people, and we're going to join together and do stuff. And I wanted to be that, to bring in more people and, find how can you find the like those A game activists who aren't engaged, but really the ones who are the really top level people are already engaged and already doing great stuff. And I think the major media attention just gets those people to realize that, yeah, I'm one of you guys, and like, let's all work together and do this. So I'm less enthusiastic about getting, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, about getting the people who aren't already doing really good stuff engaged.
But so people who are at their A game, isn't part of their being at their A game inspiring others to get involved? Isn't that what makes them on their A game? Isn't that what makes them an effective activist?
I don't know. What could I be doing to get more people inspired to be involved that I'm not already doing?
What can you do? I don't know. I mean, this is another question we all ask ourselves. I ask myself that every day. I wonder how, if I go to I don't know, like I went to a protest on Sunday about government stuff, and I met 5 vegans, and I'm like, well, I can't wait to go back, not next Sunday because we'll be in New York, but the Sunday after that, because I want to be like, okay, guys, let's do some animal stuff. All right. Like, how can I activate you? Because most of the vegans that I know in my area, they're not citizens, and they're very afraid of doing any kind of activism. And so I hooked up some people with with the vegan hacktivists and stuff like that. I'll try to get them into places where they can go. I'm pretty good at that. When I meet people, I'm like, well, here's what you can do for the movement. And I think I'm pretty good at that. And but now I'm noticing that there's people are active all of a sudden, and it's been a long time since I've seen people in the streets, and they have some kind of energy that they want to put behind stuff. Now, I find it very worrisome that this campaign, the Crumble, needs to improve animal welfare standards. It troubles me because it's like, this is far dumber than the Disney thing to me. Like the Disney thing, I'm really trying to get the lowest common denominator because I thought people cared about this stuff. But Crumble Cookies is a rapidly expanding cookie chain, okay? And the Humane League is arguing that they're keeping hens in cages, and they're using battery cages. But the criticism is for lagging behind competitors like Krispy Kreme and Dairy Queen. And I think, like, the fact that they mentioned that, okay, well, we got Krispy Kreme to do it and we got Dairy Queen to do it. Now we need you to do it. But it's just like, I don't believe that Dairy Queen and Krispy Kreme are using cage-free eggs. I think it's BS. I don't believe it.
Well, that would be a scandal if you could break that, or else now you've just gotten us. You're liable for slander. We're gonna be sued by Krispy Kreme
because I don't believe it.
Yeah, so we got to prove that. You can't just say they're
I can't
not
say that I don't
using
believe.
cage-free.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying that I
Okay.
don't believe that they aren't. I'm not saying they're not. They might be, they might not be. I just don't believe it. And partly it's because of companies like Swanson's and these others who said they're no longer going to sell caged animals. Remember when Swanson said that they're not going to have any caged animals by 2022. And guess what? 2022 came and went, and they didn't keep up their side of the bargain. And now, but they were able to shut up the activists. The activists went away. It seems like such a weird ask. Please stop caging animals. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Lateral Alice says, have you tried reaching out to the non-vegan community? Yes, like we primarily target non-vegans with our work with Our Honor, mostly veterinarians, which veterinary, it's a tough group, veterinarians, because they're very focused on their own things, their day-to-day lives, running their practices, so they don't have a lot of free time. But yeah, I'm not an extrovert. I'm not a gregarious person. I think because I like to I feel most effective when I'm like alone in silence, writing and thinking about what I want to create.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the best at like motivating people to join a cause. So
I think you're motivational. I think you motivate me because you've got this vision of kind of marketing the movement towards people who might be primed to actually, since they already care about animals, they might be primed to action.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that to me that's visionary. I think that in that respect, you're quite the visionary. So, I mean, I think that's motivational. The fact that you're kind of coming at it from these other angles that most activists that I meet, well, they just don't. They don't even consider those things,
Yeah, but I think you can think it's motivational, but like, what does it actually look like? What are the results of that? And the results of that is we've gotten a ton of press. Like, we're way more effective in that area than the vast majority of animal rights groups.
Yeah.
But that's primarily due to my grind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like things will come to us, that the right things that match who I am and my personality. I'm looking for that person, that veterinarian who is that gregarious, outgoing person who will bring in more veterinarians. I think, that's something I'll put out into the universe. I'm looking for who is that person who wants to build the veterinary community, because I realize that that's not my strong point. But I feel like there's maybe some vet out there who is very extroverted and wants to bring people together and organize events and do that. And I think that's really important. And I'm down to just support that veterinarian who wants to do that. But until then, I am going to continue doing what I love doing, which is creating content and press and getting the right message into the media. I'm not going to waste my time to try to motivate the wrong people, because I think that's a waste of effort.
But is the wrong people, is it the wrong people, the people who are standing? I mean, wouldn't it be great if we can get some of these people who are doing something like the Crumble campaign or these others to switch gears and do? I mean, those are the right people, aren't they?
Yeah, if we can redirect their efforts and energy into like a more effective campaign.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Even just go egg-free crumble cookies. That's a better campaign than
Yeah, agreed.
cage-free. So let's do that. So how
Yeah,
do
I
we
mean,
reach out to those people?
we can just start hijacking. This is what I think. This is why I think we need to not we, but just activists in general or vegans need to show up to these protests, because even though like if I went to the humane leagues and Crumble and was like, wait a second, what about cage free? You know, why don't not have any eggs? Why aren't we doing eggless? Maybe there's got to be a few people there that might join a different campaign. I don't know.
Yeah.
And this is how we kind
Would
of
you
feel
be
about
like poaching activists off of a campaign, and then would that kind of burn some bridges with some of these groups by doing that? Does that seem like a little unfair and a little like not good sportsmanship?
if I thought
don't
we
know,
were in
it feels-
competition, I mean, are we in competition? I mean, I guess we are. I guess that's kind of the sadness of it all, that we're in competition with these organizations for donors, for
We shouldn't
bodies,
be in competition.
I agree. Why are we all? Why does everything have to be a competition? Like, most activists I know are not only doing something with one organization; they're doing something with 3 or 4 organizations. Like when I was out there, I had something to do with. I was doing something with AV, something with PETA, something with a foie gras, independent foie gras thing. I was always doing something. And yes, some of them I wasn't. Like foie gras sometimes is really hard for me, because it's like saying, take this one thing off your menu, and it's like so much pushback and so much anger, and people are just threatening you over this one thing. And you're like, foie gras gets you this upset? Is this worth it? People are going to jail trying to get foie gras off the menu. But I got to think, well, if someone's not showing up for the animals, then how am I ever going to convince anybody? I need to rally. I need to be rallying the troops, get people up, get people going. Maybe some of that energy is going to be wasted, but
yeah. Are you, unless that's something you like to do and you're doing it anyway, but if you're doing it for the hopes of like, this will have some result in the future, I don't know. I feel like it's a waste of time.
I mean, if we get foie gras off because the one I'm thinking about, I'm not allowed to mention their name because everyone had to sign stuff that we wouldn't talk about them anymore. But they did in Little Rock. They did acquiesce. They said, yes, we're going to take it off the menu.
Oh,
it
okay.
worked.
It worked. Nice. But you're not allowed to talk about them anymore. It's like, don't they want to advertise that they're now? I don't know. Maybe
You'd think that they would, right? No, but they just got rid of the loud protesters, basically. You know, it was great. Karina says, I'm going to be honest, guys, I was doing a full demo protest day on Saturday and went to the Humane League with the cage-free demo. It was a little cringe, but I got to talk to some vegans. Why was it cringe? I'd love to know. Why do you think it was cringe? She said, I know when she came back, she said that it was a little bit too welfareist, she said. Karina,
literally.
Yeah. Is it
like these whole cage-free campaigns? Meat eaters should be campaigns. Yes. Why are we having vegans do that? Like, just like the people who criticize me for our criticisms of gas chambers, saying, well, you have to list a better method. It's like, no, I just have to say what's wrong with the main system because I'm a vegan and I think it should be shut down.
Yeah.
You as a meat eater should be the one telling me, no, there's better methods and this is how we're going to change it. And you should be advocating for that if you continue to want to eat meat. And we can have that argument. But I'm saying, no, this is the most humane way, they say, and it's awful. So why are we still producing protein from animals? This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing, the reason why I love Our Honor is because it's like, okay, this is what we're doing to pigs and gas chambers. Here's why people think it's okay or have traditionally thought it was okay. It obviously isn't, and we need to rethink animal protein production. Full stop. Yeah. Right? It's not about trying to make faster, better gas chambers. It's about let's rethink this altogether. Let's eliminate this. This is stupid what we're doing. Yeah. Sensi Vegano says Does giving a 1-star review to a restaurant that serves foie gras,
I
does it
think
help?
that's a great idea. I think we should be doing more of that for sure. And, giving 1-star reviews to restaurants saying like, this place has shitty vegan options. Like,
Yeah.
why are they still serving veal or,
Mhm.
anything? Like, just jump on whatever.
Or do you think it's weird that it's veal or foie gras? Oh no.
Oh no. Damn it.
I lost your I can still hear you though.
Well, okay. I don't know. I can try to leave and then come back in and get my camera connected again. I don't know why it just, decides to not work. I'll
I want to know what you think about foie gras and veal.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, so the question is, I guess, does it matter? I think about this a lot because foie gras and veal, horrible. Everyone agrees. Veals are baby cows, and foie gras is a force-fed duck, usually sometimes a goose. Now, why wouldn't I just protest at a McDonald's? Why aren't we just protesting at every McDonald's ever and just saying stop selling all animal products, stop selling beef, stop selling animals? Like, there's a McDonald's in every single town. And
my McDonald's protest would be start selling board cow milk instead of regular cow milk in your Happy Meals. Like, I think that would be like a good targeted, like, let's make board cow milk more ubiquitous because people are getting the same thing.
But don't you think people would, if we did that? So now think about it. Hold on, I can't look at you. Are you gonna pop off and pop back on?
Yeah, it'll just take a second though.
Okay,
I'll do that right now.
I can take a second. All right, what do you guys think? Board cow milk. I think board cow is an interesting thing because it's the same thing as dairy milk, but it's made out of first milk alternative to do it all. It is a milk alternative that is milk. It's just precision fermentation. It's packed with sustainable milk protein and rich in calcium and vitamin D. It's perfect for cooking, baking, and coffee making. That's why we call it the first milk alternative to do it all. There we go. Your coffee, tea, your cereal, all that stuff. Shop vanilla, shop chocolate. Okay, shop original. No lactose, gluten, or cholesterol. How do they do it? How is it possible? What's it made out of? $3 off any pork. Oh, look, they got a coupon here. Okay, I love it. My whole family loves board cow. Wow, I had the high hopes given the environmental benefits compared to industrial dairy. Loved it at first taste. Have never been able to learn to love any of the milk alternatives in my coffee, so this was a revelation. Here I am going to quit coffee. I'm quitting coffee, everybody. I'm sorry. I don't think I can drink coffee anymore. I can't afford it with the tariffs. The tariffs have got me quitting coffee. Create a cow. Oh, look at it. You can create a cow, the board cow. Oh, very cool. And you can even give them outfits, nice accessories. Okay, great. We got different cow stuff going on here. Now, board cow is somehow doing it with precision fermentation of yeast particles, right? And they're able to get cow's milk that isn't cow's milk somehow. It's pretty spot on, says board cow, says the thicker, richer, creamier, and this is HuffPost is saying that it's the new thing. It's the new sensation sweeping the nation. None of these work. Okay, the outfit, the accessories aren't working, but okay. As you can see, you can make your own. I made a Moby. I wanted my cow to look like Moby. He's got vegan tattoos all over. Yeah. Sky, you're a nice guy. You need more viewers, man. Hey, man. I'm always trying to get more viewers. How do I do that, Johnny Vegan Seed? It seems that compartmentalized thinking that's fairly typical in people. I know I did it too, although before I joined all the dots. Yes. Well, we do that with insulin using recombinant cells. Antonia, isn't it, don't they do insulin on E. coli? Isn't it actually, don't they make insulin on E. coli? So they could do it precision fermentation with cow's milk They can make cow's milk without the cow. However, it might be a first step towards veganism. I'm conflicted. Personally, I don't really like it. It makes me feel kind of like a pick-me. It felt a little weird, like the bare minimum. It felt like almost confusing carnies into thinking exploiting animals is okay as long as animals aren't caged. Gives the wrong message. I totally agree with you, Karina. So then why are so many vegans signing up for that stuff, right? I don't get it. Why do so many vegans say they sign up to do it? I guess, show up to see if you can find some vegans that'll want to do it, want to do more. Okay, so the footprint is less water, generates fewer greenhouse gas emissions. Here's the cow pouring milk life cycle assessment. Our climate footprint: 96% less land, 67% less water, and 44% fewer emissions. How we compare: land use, water. Bored cow uses so much less, 96% land, 67% less water, and 44% less of emissions. What is LCA? Environmental impact. Okay, but I want to know like how they do it. Learn how it's made. Here we go. How it's made.
Sorry, I don't know if I I can remove myself if I
no,
into your. Okay, there you go.
Dairy from fermentation is here. Sound impossible, but it's actually really simple. We don't milk it, we brew it. Scroll down to learn how. Microbrewery that makes milk ingredients. Wow. We ferment sugar into whey. No cows, no factory farms needed. It's like magic.
So
they use
like
barley?
If we put this in Happy Meals instead of, because right now kids Happy Meals, they can choose between soda or milk. Obviously milk is the healthier choice here, and we could do like oat milk, but that doesn't have the same amount of protein as cow's milk. You could do soy milk, but soy milk might taste weird to kids who don't already eat
soy milk. Also, people talk too much trash on soy milk, right?
Yeah.
So there's like the government has, not the government, but the industry has talked so much trash on soy milk now. I don't want my kid drinking soy milk, gonna get those soy boobs.
Yeah. But bored cow milk, it's like literally the same. It tastes the same as milk. It's the same nutrient profile, and it's made without cows. Like that's the alternative. Like that's what the kids should be drinking. This is what the kids should be drinking in schools. So get that on menus. We're basically doing free marketing for bored cow. Like don't get paid by them at all, but
would do free marketing for bored cow might be a good way to take on someone like McDonald's. But okay, so now just to play devil's advocate here though, Crystal, aren't we doing something a little bit like Crumble, like Humane League there? We're not asking them to stop selling animals. We're saying, hey, just change the milk.
Yeah, that's this, like what Crumble Cookies is doing. They're not moving the needle at all because they're just going from caged eggs to cage-free eggs, which makes no difference. If you remove cow's milk and replace it with cow-free milk, that's a huge change. Like that normalizes animal-free products. It supports animal-free food production. The Crumbles Cookie campaign is not supporting animal-free food production.
That's right.
So it's only supporting, it's literally putting money in the pockets of cage-free egg farmers and normalizing the idea that cage-free is better. It's harmful to our movement is what they're doing. And it's literally doing free advertisement for cage-free egg producers.
And sort of for Crumble too, right? Do people even know what Crumble is?
Absolutely.
Like it's I mean, I think it's weird to be asking Crumble to do cage-free. Cage-free, man. One time I had Mercy for Animals on my show a long time ago. And it was hard because it's like everybody on the show, there were 3 people from Mercy, and they were all vegans and they all abolitionists. And they're saying that this is a step to that.
There's no, I don't understand how they think it's a step to that. at all, because research has shown that even if we push for higher welfare reforms, it actually slows down, like people are less likely to go vegan because they think the animals are treated well. So that's I hate to see vegans doing free advertisement for animal producers. This is
the thing too is that I'm going, when you ask for abolition, they give you welfare anyway. I don't understand why you would ask for welfare. That's what they do. You say, I want to abolish this, and they say, well, what if we do no cages? And they tried it. They always negotiate with themselves anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's useful. All right, but Crystal, this is where I'm going with this, because I'm like, okay, well, the Disney thing was the same thing. I want to attack Disney because we stop using fireworks. We have an alternative that a non-painful way doesn't hurt animals, do people care enough about?
People don't care enough about this. Throughout all this whole live stream, like we have this like Save Pluto campaign thing going, and still 57, not a single additional person has signed on to our letter. So I feel like it's a waste of time.
We have 57 people watching, and we have 57 people who have signed, but I don't think the 57 people who are watching all signed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to start moving on to writing and what you got going on.
Yeah, of course.
I think that might be a good use of our time. Instead of whining and complaining, this is the wine stream today. We're just whining.
Like Harvey Weinstein. Well, you seem a little down.
I'm just tired. I worked all day today, and it's just
you're making me sad. You make me feel like you're losing the I don't know. You're making me worry about you a little bit, to be honest.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, because I'm afraid that like you're I don't know, losing the dream. I don't know. Like it's
yeah, I don't know.
Just because one doesn't work doesn't mean that we can't have another. I guess it takes a while. I'm not signing until I get off the stream. You're not signing until you get off the stream. Okay, at least we'll have one. Yes, that's a great name for a show. The wine stream. Yeah. I guess like I don't know. I worry because like not every campaign is going to work, right? Some are going to get traction, some aren't. I don't know how Humane League does it. How do they get so many people to show up for cage free? It seems stupid to me. Is it money?
People just grinding, messaging people. And that's the thing. We haven't utilized our text on MailChimp enough. So maybe we should start doing that.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Start texting people and reminding people to do it and sign on and all of that. So that's a missed opportunity there. So
yeah, if we have them. So what I have is I was working on a press thing for the fact that we're going to be in New York, and so I thought we'd look at that first because I think we can grab it real fast, and then maybe I can do I'm gonna share it to you real fast. Let's get that. Hold on, see Heath. I'm just gonna share it to you right now so you can see it, but I'll also put it on the screen for everybody else. But then I wanted to look at the other one, the one for Disney, just because even though you're not feeling the Disney thing, I still
should get it. If you wrote it, like let's get it published. Like that's
that's
true.
That. I'd like to try to
put the link in the private chat so I can, because I can't see it on my screen.
Yes, of course I can.
My
Give me
big
1 second,
screen
please.
isn't working. I'm gonna see if try to get my big screen working, but
I'm gonna do it right now. So this is a press advisory, and I've written press releases before, and this is kind of the same idea, but so Dr. Crystal Heath is going to be in New York. I'm going to be there too, but we want to make Crystal available for interviews and for meeting people who want to comment, so maybe we can get some press over there. The press advisory reads, Dr. Crystal Heath available for interviews in New York, April 12th to 18th. Actually, it's 13th to 18th, isn't it, really? Let
me see.
13th to 17th?
I feel like you have to, I would suggest opening with something like veterinarian available to comment on avian influenza outbreak in New York.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. I was just kind of keeping it.
Dr. Crystal Heath, like who the fuck is that?
She's famous. She did that Save Pluto thing, and now she's famous. Everyone knows who she is because we took down Disney's fireworks. It worked. We all need to vent, says Sensi. Absolutely. And being an empath is exhausting. You know, I guess to speak to that, I think it's exhausting being any kind of an activist is a lot like an artist. And because I spent so much time being an artist, I know what it feels like to constantly be throwing out, save me bottles into the ocean. Like I'm on a desert island and I write a letter and I put it in the bottle and I throw it into the ocean. And I don't know if anyone ever reads it, if anybody cares to read it, if when they open the bottle, if they do find the bottle, is it in the language that they can read, like all of these things. And I feel like that's activism too, where it's constantly like just throwing as much as you can, as many message in the bottle as you can. And someone will get it. Someone will finally get it, and you'll start, you'll be rescued, and it'll go well. But it's really hard when you're on that island by yourself.
One theme in my life is that throughout my entire life, I've had way too much grit, where I've stuck with things for too long when I should have abandoned them. Like from relationships, like I had a relationship for 10 years that was shit. And he was an alcoholic and awful. And I'm like, oh, I'll just stick with it. Next one was 4 years, also like shit. But I'm learning, cut it off at 4 years instead of like wasting 10 years of your life. And gradually I've learned, having jobs that were bad or, and you're thinking, I'm trying to make it better. I'm trying to make it work. Now I've learned throughout my life, have less grit and just follow your passion. And if something isn't working out, like do what you love,
try something new.
Like do what you want to be doing. And if you're like spending your time being like, I don't want to be here, this isn't fun for me anymore.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Don't do it. Just like leave and start something new. Find whatever you're passionate about. And that's if I feel like this is a grind, I'm not. That's not a good use of energy.
That's why I think
limited energy in your life.
Yeah. It's a finite resource for sure. And we should be using it for things that we care about. But that's the thing with animal rights. It's like, I do care about these things, but then we're talking about tactics, and it's really hard to know when something's going to work, if something's going to work, how well it's going to work. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like with the fireworks thing, we had all those people say they cared about fireworks, and all of a sudden it's like, come on now. Like we're how many posts have we done about fireworks and no one has shared it? No one has used our hashtag. It's
people aren't into it. So if you're down to, if you want to do the fire, if you're passionate about it, like go for it and do it. But I don't know. It's not really doing it for me. It's not something I'm excited about right now.
Well, I only got excited about it because you were excited about it.
Oh, okay. Well, let me relieve you of that.
Well, it's true. I like because you were like all these vet. The reason why I got excited was because you're like all these vets care about fireworks, and I'm like, okay, awesome. Let's do something big then.
Yeah, and I feel like every like fireworks season when it flares up again, we can like put the thing out there. Join the vet. I think that the campaign that did really well was just join the veterinarians against fireworks, and people signed on to that.
But that's like so low. It's like they don't have to do anything.
We can get
right?
this list. We can maybe reach out to these people, and we could send them like, hey, will you send this to your city council member? Or here's you send this draft of this ordinance to your city council member or whatever.
Yeah, I was starting to work on the little letter to council and letter to the editor for the fireworks, and it's it's fine, but it's just like I don't think they'll send it. That can't even get them to use a hashtag. How are they going to send something?
It's there. It'll be on our website if the toolkit's
a good resource.
made.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
fine, but I'm not going to push wet noodles up hills anymore. I'm not going to waste my energy on things I'm not into.
Well, I got it. I'm ride or die. I'm good for whatever. So I'm a little bit, I'm not disenchanted. It just kind of bums me out because I feel like we had a decent idea and I don't know. It just kind of sucks. All right. So, but let's look at this thing. We're going to get you an interview in New York. So available for interviews about avian influenza outbreak, Brooklyn. Wet markets, New York wet markets.
I wouldn't use the term wet market because that is activist language, and not, we're legitimate people. A recognized
live
who
slaughter
I would
markets?
see a California-based. Why are we saying California-based veterinarian? That's going to make us seem
because we're visiting. We're exotic. Like
no,
we're not always in
I
New York.
wouldn't. That's, I don't know.
Okay.
And who has been you don't just want to say, tell them, oh, you're an Ashley, like show them whose work has been featured.
It's here. It's here. Dr. Heath
Okay,
has been featured in outlets.
And I would link to it.
Well, I can do the links here. I'm going to cut this and put it up there. But the links will, right now, we're just drafting.
And then
we haven't gone that far. Like
our ChatGPT did a great job on this.
Well, it wasn't just ChatGPT.
Okay.
What do you see? What did you see? Was it our horror or something?
Yeah. No. I just the whole thing. I'm just joking that it's very ChatGPT.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. ChatGPT helped me. I mean, because I was writing about it, and I'm going, well, how the hell am I gonna format it? You know, and I thought that ChatGPT would be pretty good because a press advisory, you know, it's not a. I don't know.
You can follow all the other press advisories that I've written.
Well, where are they?
The many that I've shared in our chats.
Okay.
I can I could send them to you. They're in our press folder.
Oh, I can go look for it. But I mean, do you want me to scrap this? You don't like this, or
no? This is a good start, and let's just like workshop this a little bit. Get the links to these, going. And is available for op-eds, panels. I would just say available for interviews. This is
okay. Well, I thought about podcasts too, though. What about podcasts?
That encompasses interviews. If we send this to a podcaster, they'll be like, "Oh, she's available for interview." So it sounds a little spammy if you say podcasts when you're sending it to a podcast. It sounds like, oh, she's just sending this out to everybody. Like she's just ChatGPT a thing to send out to a bunch of people.
In the food system.
I don't know if we need to say this.
What about you're not going to put the? Oh, I like the Cornell and the.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that.
Oh.
Because it's like, then they're going to ask, I don't know. It just opens a can of worms. Like,
well, because I thought that might be newsworthy because you're going to be speaking
it's not newsworthy. It's not newsworthy.
Well, it's sort of newsworthy. You're going to doing these talks. That might be something that they want to say, hey, there's going to be a talk. Go check it out or something.
Nah, it's not. They're not like open to the public big things. This is just like, so.
It's kind of fancy. Cornell.
Let's see. Let's no. Yeah. Okay, we'll start with openings. One of my previous press advisories.
So I mean, we don't need this either then. We say New York City 13th to this 18th. If we're not going to say.
Well, we're not going to be in New York City the 18th. We'll be in Cornell the 16th. Be in Ithaca the 16th to the 18th.
Okay. 16th to the 18th.
see here. I think we really have to highlight the footage. Well, we could say, like, talk about our previous investigations, how we'll be investigating.
Do you want to talk about because the live markets?
Mm-hmm. The markets with the influenza at Queens. My Q doesn't work on this computer, so I'm going to need you to.
Your Q doesn't? Yeah, I can do that.
There, Lyndon.
I'm trying to find the Time magazine.
I don't know how you can capitalize that Q for me. That would be needed.
President, local outbreak of avian influenza in Queens. Got it. Gotcha.
Heath's previous investigations in the Central Valley of California garnered significant media attention, including a video by Business Insider. And including major this included. And I've already been featured in some New York media too. We could link to that.
We have the New York Times.
Well, local New York newspapers too recently.
Which one should I put in there?
I can, let me find out.
Maybe you should put Vox instead of Business. Well, I do Vox and then Business Insider.
Yeah, well, I mentioned Business Insider down here, so you don't have to do Business Insider up there.
Okay. And I can do we can link to the website. I'm sorry, to their YouTube video about us, about you, with you.
Yeah.
And,
perfect.
Cool. I can find that. Why is bird flu worse than before and so expensive? Is that the one? 6 days ago. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I can do that.
I think here, put see if this will copy paste. Okay, yeah, that's the local news.
At the Queen's QNS.
Is it worthwhile? I'm trying to figure out how to make it.
We will be investigating out. Dr. Heath has been. What are you thinking?
I don't know. Maybe I'll just link to this here. And they'll see.
Included a video of Bay. Business Insider. There it is. Okay, so footage of dead cows were featured in numerous local news stories, including major media outlets such as Vanity Fair. Do you want me to put the Vanity Fair link too?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Nailed it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's already getting to be longer than a page. They're only supposed to be a page
That's
long,
fine.
right?
Yeah. And we got lots of good, juicy information. Most people don't have the information that we have. We could say the most recent outbreak in Queens was on April 7th. They may or may not be aware of that. Let's see. Most recent outbreak in, this is where I can't spell Queens.
Did you not try DeepSeek? I haven't tried DeepSeek yet, Paul. I just, I don't know. What I usually try to do is write as much as I can and kind of stream of consciousness, and then I try to hammer it into the form that I want. But I haven't used DeepSeek. Do you think Arial is the best font? And what is the best font size? I like Times, but Arial is, we're using Arial right now. Generally, people use Arial for online reading because it's sans serif. People don't like to read serif fonts online unless it's traditional stuff like Atlantic and the New Yorker both use Georgia font. Some of the traditional news you still use Georgia even online. I'm guessing. I don't know what Times uses Times New Roman, right?
Cool. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Let's add the date to the top here. 7/25. I can send that. New York Avian Influenza Press.
I don't see you typing. You're typing, but I hear you typing, but nothing is coming.
At the top, change the subject.
Oh, the title of the thing. Okay.
And I'm sharing that to anyone with the link can access, because we don't gatekeep around here.
No gatekeeping.
All right. I guess I won't put my phone number online yet. I'll add my phone number afterwards.
Yeah, or I was gonna put mine on there anyway, so that you don't have to be bothered. But I mean,
so what do we think of this? Do you have any feedback on what I've written so far, other than it being long? But I think that's just my style. It's not my normal 50-page Google Doc, but
yeah, I'm more sensitive to the length. Hold on a second. So,
but it's juicy. It's like,
we'll be investigating the local outbreak of avian influenza at Queens Market, with the most recent outbreak in Queens occurring on April 7th. Dr. Heath, previous investigations in the Central Valley of California. When did you say California's Central Valley?
Okay, yeah.
Garnered. Central Valley. Just because most of the time when I listen to news reports about Central Valley, it's California Central Valley, garnered significant attention, including a video produced by Business Insider. Video by Business Insider. Footage of dead cows were featured in numerous local stories, including major media outlets.
I would say numerous local stories and major media outlets such as Vanity Fair. I'll just re-add this little, I guess footage of dead cows. Let me add the link to our press page. How about that right here?
Sure, I'm on the press page right now. I'll do it. I'm already there.
Well, I know the address.
Yeah, but
there you go.
Right, cool.
That's right.
Yeah. Footage of dead cows were featured in numerous and major outlets. If I'm being a nitpicker, I want to make that an active sentence, but that's fine. Like I would say major media outlets such as Vanity Fair have featured footage of dead cows, as well as in numerous, like, I don't know, major media outlets and local news stories. Major media outlets like Vanity Fair and local news stories have featured footage of dead cows. And is it our footage? Her footage? Her footage? No?
Footage of our, yeah, it should be our footage.
Yeah. Because it doesn't. There you go. Our footage of dead cows were featured. Yeah, that's better. Then it's our to start the sentence.
And
makes
then
more
footage.
focus.
This.
Um,
our documentation. Maybe I love documentation.
Yeah, I was about to say documentation too.
This footage included. Mm-hmm. There you
go. Dead cows piled up uncovered at Southern Cross Dairy, Vaca Linda Dairy, and Mendoza Farms. Accessible to scavenging animals pose a biosecurity risk. Emaciated cows and aborted fetuses across herds like Maya Dairy and Riverbend Dairy, raising urgent and animal welfare concerns, and public health red flags. This is consistent with what Anya Radebach of Western United Dairies posted on X, that dairy farmers get paid almost zero post-infection because there is less meat on the cow and she looks off. Wow. Okay. Photos and videos of symptomatic cows coughing and lying in muddy paddocks, many confirmed to be from H5N1 positive herds. To be from lying in muddy. Just take out the many.
I would, or some confirmed. I don't know.
No, that's fine. Poor workers. I don't know. It's fine.
Not all of them were confirmed to be from H5N1 positive herds. So.
Yeah. To be from. Many confirmed. I don't know how you'd read to be from is so like bleh. Poor worker protections during cleanup in Central Valley Eggs, which received over $10 million in USDA indemnity payments. Multiple workers were seen without masks or respirators, despite Cal OSHA guidance mandating respiratory protection and zoonotic outbreaks. An August 2024 Department of Homeland Security report reveals just how stable avian influenza is in the environment, saying HPAI viruses are relatively stable in duck feathers, maintaining infectivity for up to 160 days in experimental trials. That's fantastic.
How should we end it? Like we're
Crystal has made herself available for and is very excited to meet. Something like that. I don't know.
I don't want to be like excited about like the death of pandemic, like influenza, but like we are sure to uncover some interesting. We are sure to document some interesting findings in New York, in Queens. We will.
We expect
to document
and uncover
even more interesting findings in Queens. Again, I can't with a Q.
No problem. I
don't know
if you can. Yeah. It's funny because it gets there you go. In Queens. Could we say something like
at the times of your convenience at
that's
your
what
convenience.
I was thinking. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty good.
Cool.
That we're open to kind of work with you on time.
I'm going to send this to somebody who's been working diligently on some New York press and see if this person wants to help us out. I'll be like, yeah, could they?
Do you know any other places we can send it besides that?
Any places we can send it besides where?
Well, it's besides your friend who's working diligently. Oh, damn it! Your camera's gone again.
Oh, fuck! Really?
Yeah. It's okay.
Well, so we do in our press spreadsheet. We have somebody compiling avian influenza stories and the journalists' emails who do those. So sending to those, searching for New York people. But yeah, let me just send this to this person. And if you want to work on collecting more New York media outlets, if this person, I want to see if this person will share with me their press list of New York. And if they won't, we can just start compiling our own, which we already pretty much have, but it's all in our media list, our media spreadsheet.
I'm looking at it right now. Media list. Do we have it by city? No, it's like oh, it is. It's by state. Okay. But it is not in. Okay, anyway, I'll look at that later. So before we go.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I thought we could also look at the Sundown in Toontown about Disney.
Okay. I mean, I will give it, spend 10 minutes on it, max, because we've got other op-eds. I want to know, maybe let's save it for the end. How about that? Because that's your op-ed. It's not really related to current bird flu news and stuff like that right now.
So which one do you want to do?
We've got Daniela's, which still hasn't been published. Do we want to look at that over one more time and figure out where we want to publish it?
Sure. Vets and avian influenza.
And could we repurpose it for, I know we were talking about the egg roll, the Easter egg roll thing. When is that?
It's in like a week. When is Easter?
Yeah. Can we repurpose it? Like change it's Sunday, April 20th. So, it would be good.
Maybe we can.
Can you put the link in the private chat for this one?
Yes.
Is that the title we went with, Veterinarians and the Hidden Cost of Eggs?
Yeah, I mean, this is how it was the last time we.
Maybe we should come up with it. That's maybe why Newsweek turned it down. We got to open up with something.
Because of the title,
if they're not going to, we have to at least, they might not publish the title, but the email subject has to be something compelling. And if I saw an email subject with veterinarians and the hidden cost of eggs, I'm like, if that's what they went with the subject, this essay isn't worth my time. I'm not even going to give it a chance. So you really let's think about what we could do here. That's a little bit more enticing.
Veterinarians. What are you doing?
I'm just copying and pasting this into another document. Just if I want to completely overhaul this, I won't feel bad about destroying that draft.
Well, let's do it. Let's see what the title is, and we can look at it, and then we can do the title at the end, so that we kind of have a fresh eye on it before we just go. because sometimes the title comes last, right? Okay, so if you drive through Wasco, California, you'll encounter a strange sight: multiple 3-story buildings in the middle of nowhere. That this immense facility is Central Valley Eggs, where they exterminated more than 2 million birds last November in response to avian influenza. The workers were there. Notice when you drive up for a close look, they don't get many visitors out there. Yeah. We've all noticed skyrocketing egg prices and empty grocery store shelves, a result of the unprecedented outbreak. Half of the state's egg-laying flocks are dead. 756 cow herds are infected. When will we realize how our reliance on animal-based protein imperils our health and economy?
Oh, and that's another reason I realized Newsweek probably wouldn't go with this, because we're specifically focusing on California egg farms. And like, we talk about, like the California's top bailout recipients, not even mentioning Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest egg producer. Like, of course, Newsweek is going to want something about Cal-Maine. It's the nation's largest egg producer. And, here would be a good time. We could adjust this part and talk about, like, Cal-Maine Foods just released its earnings statement. They, tripled whatever the details were on that, $507 million in revenue, while we bailed them out. So that might be the way to go there to make it more topical and national newsy. Oh, are you there? Did I lose you?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking, because Cal-Maine. Because I remember that we were trying to get this in a California paper, and we gave up after what? Mercury didn't take it, or somebody didn't take it. I think it was Mercury. Do we want to try doing California, or do we want to try more national papers for this?
I think we could. How many words is it? I mean, we could try Washington.
678.
It's 678.
Mm-hmm.
We could try Washington Post with it, especially with the Cal-Maine, and if we could tie in. Although we start off in California, so maybe make it a California thing, since it's opens with California, and it's not really.
Because it just feels like the Cal-Maine thing. Maybe we should write one from scratch for Cal-Maine, and we could talk about how, because that's easily 600 words, and why the hell are we paying all these indemnities towards companies like Cal-Maine?
Yeah, I mean, we could delete this first. I'm just gonna start here. I'm gonna share with you my screen. Let's if we're going to try to repurpose this one for. Okay, here's my new one. We can repurpose this for the Easter egg roll and Cal-Maine's earnings statements. Change what would be the first paragraph, and you can. I'll just kind of.
I guess I would the first paragraph. I would say something like, where's my cursor? I would say something like,
and the stock market's tanked, although now it's coming back up again. I could start with, like, one of my tweets that did pretty well was something like, "Why your 401ks tanked, Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest egg producer, is doing just fine." But
can you give me Can you give me editing?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Cal-Maine's doing just fine while the stock market's going down. But I was thinking, if we're going to do about the egg roll, like the news in the paper about egg roll is that has been updated. Reload. The news about the egg roll is that they're selling it out, right? Like for the first time in its over 100-year history, the White House egg roll is selling.
White House plans to use real eggs for the Easter egg roll despite a strain on supply and concern over prices. Here's an NBC News story.
Yeah. They're selling corporate sponsorships too. And what the sponsorships are is $75K, between 75 and 100,000.
30,000 eggs. There'll be 30,000 eggs.
It was between $275,000 and $200,000. Not $200,000. We'll buy. I don't know. We'll. Well, it's right now. It's unclear. It's unclear what between 75 to $200,000 will buy you, but many theorize, many envision Easter egg baskets. Emblazoned with logos. And then, because I think that like that corporate angle might work, because we're going, okay, well, that's the fuck, emblazoned. Like, it's the fact that they're letting corporate sponsorships can lead into, well, but it's already a corporate, the whole thing is a corporate sponsorship. It's the egg board, right? And they're using 30,000 eggs to, do you know what I mean? Are you, I can't see your face.
Yeah,
so it's
no.
I don't know.
I'm listening and reading, and kind of, I'm trying to think of how this is going to come together. Is it White House is two separate words too. Do we, I don't like saying it's unclear what it will buy you. Do we know?
Yeah, I mean, everything I've seen and read is what will sponsorships at the White House egg roll.
Logo and branding opportunities, according to a 9-page document.
Yeah. Yeah, everything I'm seeing online is that, this is not your grandmother's Easter egg roll. $75,000 to $200,000 with the promise of logo and branding opportunities.
White House egg roll goes corporate under Trump.
We could say for. We'll just say that then. What was it? Branding and what opportunities? Branding opportunities are for sale from $75,000 to $200,000. And we could say news outlets are running stories about how this is unique, but most won't report that the egg roll itself is one big advertisement for corporations, for giant corporations who
Egg industry.
I was thinking because I want to tie it to Cal-Maine, right? So it's already it's an advertisement for like these mega corporations who are seeing record profits even in a financial downturn and in an egg crisis. Do you know what I mean? For companies who are seeing record profits during an economic downturn and the avian influenza crisis. What do you think? Not a crisis. You still with me? Crystal? Am I alone? Crystal? Dang it. It looks like I'm alone again. Crystal, I lost you. What does the chat think? Someone here with me? Am I all alone? Am I all by myself? Never mind. This needs a capital T. I think we're alone now. Alone now. Doesn't seem to be any. What do you think? All right. So first time we have noticed skyrocketing egg prices and empty grocery store sales as a result of unprecedented outbreak. Half of California's egg-laying flocks. California's egg-laying flocks are dead, and 756 cow herds are infected. When we realize that our reliance on animal-based protein. This is not something. I hate that line anyway. What do we got? Anybody here? Alone again, naturally, all by myself. Spend a lot of time on my own. What can I say? Crystal said that she likes spending a lot of time on her own, but I think the activists need a community. I think we need to have community for all this. What do you think? Do you think you can do it alone? Or do you think do you think it takes a village? Don't you think we all need to get together? The people united will never be divided. Isn't that more important to try to get people together and fight? I feel like we're stronger together. That's my feeling. What about you? Is that your feeling? I hope so. Alone by Heart. I used to like Heart. The Barracuda. Didn't Heart sing Barracuda? Ooh, Barracuda. All right. So I thought we could do. Let me go back to this and see what we got here. Taxpayers have already funneled billions of dollars into bailouts for industrial scale animal agriculture. California's top bailout received is the Gemperly Brothers, Pittman Family Farms. But we could say something about Cal-Maine, right? Instead of California top bailouts. I don't know. And Cal-Maine.
Okay, now I got my camera back.
Oh, you're with me. You're back.
This will just open too many windows at once and everything crashed. I think I should buy a new computer.
Mm-hmm.
I get the M4 Max chip Apple computer. Might as well go hard.
Are you shopping for one right now? Is that what you're looking at? You're looking at pictures of computers right now?
I was.
Is that why you had so many? Is that why you had so many windows open? You were comparing and contrasting?
Maybe. No, I had lots of news articles open and ChatGPT and yeah. All right, so let me try to find this thing that we're working on.
It's in the private chat.
Okay.
We've all noticed skyrocketing.
No, but the private chat is deleted since I left. So, but I found it in my Google Drive, so we're good.
Okay.
Oh, I still have if you drive by. Oh, I see. For the first time in its 100-year history, the White House egg roll is selling corporate sponsorships. Is that really the thing we want to open with? Is there?
It's just topical. I don't know. It's something about Easter. We're starting. What do you want to say? On the 3 days after the death of Christ, he emerged from his tomb to
I'm just
see
thinking,
the Cal-Maine logo.
I guess, yeah, that is the
3 days after Easter, 3 days after Good Friday, Jesus performed his final miracle and returned from the grave. And ever since, America has hosted an egg roll on the lawn of the White House. No?
I think I think we should open with the stock market news and how Cal-Maine's profiting while you're forced to bail them out. I think that would get people's attention more than it. Like, this is a good like second paragraph maybe, and like what like these corporations still get this marketing spectacle while you're while your 401k is tanking and
while your 401k tanked rest assured
last week.
Rest assured, some companies.
Rest assured, the billionaires, the billion-dollar corporations some billion-dollar corporations are just fine, are doing just fine. Rest assured, some billion-dollar corporations are doing just fine. In fact, while $44 million of your tax dollars went to Cal-Maine Foods to bail them out for avian influenza, they made record profits due to the rising cost of eggs. Triple what they made this time last year, earning $503 million in their quarterly earnings. Let me see if I can come up with what the exact numbers were there and the source.
Taxpayers,
because I think that's what's going to make people angry is like, yeah, these billionaires are doing just fine while now I don't have a retirement.
Is there an E at the end of it's Cal-Maine, like Maine, like the state, right?
Not I always forget that too.
Taxpayers gave $44 million to tax
Cal-Maine
in the form of in order to shore up in order to
509 million quarterly profits of $509 million, more than 3 times what it made a year ago.
Even though they just reported how much? Say it again. 509.
$509 million, more than 3 times what they made a year ago.
In earnings.
Quarterly profits of $509 million.
Profits, damn.
Trending hashtag animal cruelty on Twitter. So
sometimes I think that's not trending for everybody. I see that and I'm like, is it just for you, animal cruelty? Like, how is it trending now? What does that mean?
Everybody check your Twitter. What is trending as far as hashtags?
Yeah. Even though they just reported quarterly profits of $509 million, more than 3 times what they made year over year. The taxpayers did this out of the goodness in their hearts. In order to shore up in order to what's the word? In order to compensate for Cal-Maine's risky business practices.
High risk business practices instead of risky. Or I don't know if we want to go with risky, like risky business. Like
I kind of like
the movie.
I like that they're involved in a risky business, high risk. Because I mean,
Okay.
if you ever see the movie Risky Business,
Yeah.
I mean the pimp comes to kill him, right? Cal-Maine's high risk business practices: keeping millions of birds, genetically similar birds.
Even though they just
close
reported,
confinement.
I would say, wow.
Taxpayers gave 40, and they just reported, they just reported, despite having
but like taxpayers gave $44 million like last year. In return, like I don't know, how am I going to make this transition?
And taxpayers gave $44 million to Cal-Maine, and they just reported quarterly profits of $509 million. How come we're not making that?
I feel like we have to like draw attention to the unfairness of it. I feel like let me just sit and ruminate about this for a little. You can move on with what you're thinking. I'll come up with a good way to
taxpayers
make that
did the goodness to their
transition.
hearts. Or to compensate for Cal-Maine's high-risk business practices, keeping millions of genetically similars in close confinement. Okay, so, and then we could do this like. Damn it, did we delete the whole thing about the skyrocketing egg prices and everything? Oh, here it is right here.
I would. My tweet was like, your 401k is tanking, but guess who's thriving? Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest egg producer, got $44 million of your tax dollars. So it points out like that trend, like, how are you doing? Shitty. Well, Cal-Maine Foods got 44 million of your tax dollars for losing their birds. They're also raking in record profits. Like, I think that they're ending that sentence, and they're also raking in record profits is like a good, how, like, I think maybe
that's what I mean. They just do like right here and
question. Starting with the question, your 401k is tanking. Is your 401k tanking? Guess who's doing just fine? Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest egg producer, got $44 million of your tax dollars after losing their birds. They're also raking in record profits, and their stock price is soaring thanks to higher egg prices. They just reported quarterly profits of $509 million, 3 times what they made a year ago. Don't you think we deserve a cut of that or something like that? How does that sound?
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot. I'm trying to keep up.
Okay, my computer's.
Are you out again?
It's being very, it's fine. It's being very slow. I can dictate to you though if you want.
Okay, so is your 401k tanking? Guess who's doing just fine? And it's thanks to generous people like you. Taxpayers gave $44 million to Cal-Maine, and they just reported.
Maybe like just ask, what do you think about starting with how's your 401k looking these days? Or how's your 401k doing? Guess who's doing just fine? I think that might be interesting to people, like who's profiting during all of this. Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest egg producer, got $44 million of your tax dollars after losing birds to avian influenza. Does that make
how about we
sense?
it does. I want to keep the whole like, guess who's doing just fine thanks to generous people like you.
Because people aren't being generous. Their money
thanks
is
to
being
thanks
taken
to
from
people like
them.
you.
They're not even aware.
I was just
Yeah.
thanks to you.
Guess who's, I don't know. I don't think it adds anything. Because I
want it to be
would just
you
end
and
it
not
with,
just taxpayers, because taxpayers seems like,
okay.
you know what I mean? Like if I could say it's you who's paying for it and not just like your money, you know what I mean?
And what do you think about starting with like a contract? How is your 401k doing?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Like I like stuff like 401k got you down. You know, I like that type of stuff too, you know. Stuff that's a little bit like 401k, feel like you just got reamed.
I don't know. What do people think about the thanks to you? I just don't, I feel like it adds too much length and
A company that will never fail. I like that. A company that will never fail. They keep pulling you back in. I mean, we can get rid of it.
You gave $44 million. We gave $44 million to Cal-Maine Foods instead of taxpayers. We just say we.
Yeah, we gave. We better. Yeah.
In publicly subsidized bailouts.
But I don't even know if everyone knows what Cal-Maine is. Do people know what Cal-Maine even is?
The nation's largest egg producer. That's why I like Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest egg producer.
We gave $44 million in publicly subsidized funds. Is that what you said? Funds to Cal-Maine Foods?
Subsidized indemnity payments. But subsidized bailouts, we could say, although.
Yeah, I like that, bailouts.
When journalists told me they can't say bailouts, which I don't know why that is. I wonder if we can say it in an op-ed.
Largest egg producer, Cal-Maine Foods.
And I think I start with, guess who, I like.
What's up?
But guess who's thriving is like shorter than doing just fine. But guess who's thriving? I feel like that's more MAGA. Make America great again. Guess who's thriving? Like, I just like the punch here. And I say Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest egg producer. I don't know. That's how I feel like, because then Cal-Maine Foods, the nation's largest. We gave that. I don't know. Who we gave $44 million.
Why don't we just say America's largest? I like putting America's largest.
Are we talking about North America, South America?
Oh, come on. You know who we're talking about. The nation. What are we which nation are we talking about? Are we talking about Germany? What nation are we mean? Which nation? America's largest.
The US. Yeah, okay.
Food. Largest egg producer. Just received, or what are you saying that
got $44 million of your tax dollars after losing birds to avian influenza?
Publicly subsidized bailouts. No, then we just say
after exterminating their birds due to avian influenza. Because where are we saying losing? Why are we toning it down? Their birds due to should we say hens? Their hens due to avian influenza.
Avian influenza. They just recorded quarterly profits of $509 million, more than tripling.
Also raking in record profits. How about that for a sentence? They're also raking in record profits.
Yeah. What was it? Meanwhile, they're also. Yeah, that's fine. We're raking in record profits. Tripling their year-over-year reporting.
Year-over-year, is that an accurate account of?
When you do year-over-year, because it's what they made this quarter last year, that's what you do YOY. But we don't have to say that. This is what we would like year-over-year. That's what they're tripling year-over-year so far. Because it's quarter for quarter, right? They're tripling what they did last year, first quarter last year. So we could say Q1, their Q1 profits.
Maybe we should. I really like the language of just like, okay, what is the thing? More than 3 times what it made a year ago. More than 3 times what it made a year ago. I was just like, just pithy, get to the point, no jargon, no year over year, no, like just more than 3 times what they made a year ago.
Like this.
I would like start with the reporting quarterly profits of $509 million, more than 3 times what they made a year ago.
Reporting quarterly profits of $509 million, more than 3 times what they made a year ago. Okay.
Cool. How do we feel about that? I feel like it's
taxpayers
pithy.
did this. Yeah.
To the point.
Taxpayers got nothing back for this. What did the taxpayers get from this?
But it doesn't end there. We keep on giving to the industry. And next, like, and then the free marketing spectacle of the Easter egg roll. You know,
I like this. Nerds Like Us in the chat says, while the market tanks, they float away on a golden raft courtesy of the taxpayers.
That'd be like a good ending. We can send that. We can make that as like an end. Be a good closing sentence.
Yeah, I like it. I like the ending. Made a year
but a
ago.
golden life raft, I just float away on a golden parachute. But it like would. I always think golden, like it would sink, or like the parachute would fall.
How about a golden nest to make it more bird-like? It's a nest of golden eggs or something like that. The taxpayer.
I guess a gilded raft. I don't know. Float away, fly away. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it too hard.
We are continuing to prop up the whole industry built on risky or high risk business practices. I like risky business, high risk business practices. But we're not done. How about that? But we're not done. And we're not done. We're going to prop the whole industry built on high risk business practices.
We are like, if you're going to transition to the Easter egg roll, it's the corporate oligarchs, the government. But the corporate oligarch, but this something about corporate oligarchs. Something about it. I want to make it like the government, the corporations, not we, because we the people are rebelling against them. So I don't want to, that's
okay. And the corporate government partnership
alliance
alliance maybe isn't done with us.
Isn't.
Hold on. Alliance isn't through with us. They will.
We can workshop the isn't through with us a little bit.
They have a major event coming up.
This might be next paragraph. I'm just gonna start that corporate. I'm gonna delete the and here.
Wait, hold on. They're continuing to fleece the American people, and they even have a major event coming up.
While they continue to fleece the American people. Is fleece speciesist?
A little bit. I mean, I guess fleecing, it means to steal from. I like that it's
from the.
I like that it's fleecing because I love that it puts the act of harvesting, if you want to say, fleecing is really pejorative. Like, to say that people are fleecing animals, it's just like, it's stealing. Fleecing is stealing. And I love the fact that we use fleecing. When you fleece a human, it's stealing. And when you fleece an animal, it's stealing. I always like to use fleecing.
Okay.
Because it's not speciesist if it is like, it really is pejorative. You're not supposed to fleece.
Slaughter isn't speciesist necessarily.
Right,
either.
exactly.
Yeah.
Slaughter isn't speciesist either, right? If you slaughtered human, exactly.
Yeah.
And plus, fleecing is like ripping us off, taking advantage of us, tricking us.
Mm-hmm.
And that you have a major event coming up. Come on, let's
do we need to say a major event coming up, or should we remove those extra words? The Easter egg roll, the marketing spectacle, the PR. I wrote a bunch of stuff about the turkey pardon that maybe I can pull from some of that language. Of how I describe this like marketing spectacle.
Fleecing Americans while feathering their own nests. Kind of nice.
By feathering their golden nests.
Yeah, I like that, the golden nest, because it really is like a golden goose thing, right? Like, they really are doing a golden goose where they... I mean, the golden goose, he kills the goose to get all the goose egg, get all the gold. He destroys it to extract all the wealth. You still there, Crystal?
Yeah, I know. I'm still there. I'm looking for my language. Yeah.
Your camera's dead again.
Down. Yeah. Oh no, it died again. Oh God. Yeah.
Corporate government alliance isn't done with us while they continue to fleece the American people. They even have a I like that they feather their golden nest. Why not? Let's get a little poetic.
Yeah.
Their golden nests. Then we can go the White House egg roll, a marketing spectacle sponsored by the American Egg Board, is right around the corner.
Yeah. What I wrote for the turkey pardon was, it must be nice to have taxpayers shoulder your company's financial risk while the president obediently plays along without even a glimmer of empathy for the millions brutally killed.
I like that.
I like
The
painting the president as like being obedient to the corporations.
yes, but here we get the president and the first lady.
I'll just copy and paste right here, and we can change that.
Obediently play along with the corporate cash grab while the taxpayers shoulder the company's financial risk. Must be nice. Must be nice. And then we can do 30,000. You said how many eggs? 30,000?
Yeah.
We'll roll on the White House lawn. Children
obediently at the behest of the corporate oligarchs. Is that too much? Without even a glimmer of empathy for the millions brutally killed. Well, of course, Trump won't have empathy for the millions brutally killed. Like, that would be. Do we even need to say that? I'm going to leave that sentence out.
I know. I have it up here too. I put the president and first lady will obediently play along with corporate cash grab while the taxpayers shoulder the company's financial risk. Must be nice. It must be nice
or
to have
play their part in this corporate cash grab.
Play their part in this corporate cash grab. That's nice. While taxpayers shoulder the company's risk. Must be nice. Children will roll and hunt for 30,000 eggs for, I'm going to put hunt in quotes, and hunt for 30,000 eggs on the White House lawn despite a national shortage and skyrocketing prices. Marketing spectacle. This charade is all to reinstill.
And I would change corporate cash grab to corporate marketing spectacle.
It's already, wait, marketing spectacle is already used.
Damn it, where
the
is
White
that
House
used?
egg roll, a marketing spec, just one sentence above you.
In
First
this
corporate masquerade. I mean, because I use charade down here. Maybe it's a corporate, I don't know, smoke show. It's a snow job, a corporate snow job.
What's a snow job?
A snow job is when you create a bunch of bullshit, like a snowstorm. You create this bullshit mirage so that people can't see what you're actually doing. A snow job.
This is really a snow. Let me look at the.
I think it's a snow job.
Okay.
But a snow job, a corporate shit show, a corporate dog and pony show, corporate circus act. Children will roll and hunt for 30,000 eggs on the White House lawn despite a national shortage and skyrocketing prices. This charade will is all to reinstill public trust in an industry that has brutally killed 166 million.
Spin, propaganda, cover up. It's not. It's just, snow job doesn't come across as completely like fitting this particular situation. But like propaganda, PR campaign, you say
a deception or concealment of one's real motive in an attempt to flatter or persuade. That's no job.
How do we feel about
PR, yeah.
corporate PR campaign?
PR campaign, corporate PR. Does anyone know what the corporate PR, instead of a campaign, maybe a corporate PR bullshit factory?
Communication strategy. Marketing strategy. Do we have that in there?
No. We have marketing spectacle.
Yeah, marketing's already in there.
Corporate pantomime. Phantasmagoria. Dirge.
I could say industry PR strategy sounds better, maybe.
Stunt.
Thank you. Wow, taxpayers. Yeah. Cool. On that. We're up to past 166 million killed.
I don't know. I heard 166 million today on one of those things that I watched. I don't know. Now it's in my head. I don't know what the actual number, 175 million. It's like.
You can link to the thing. I know it's 6:14 and it's getting late.
It is.
I don't know how are we feeling about
my feet are kind of. Well, I can rework it tomorrow morning too. We can like kind of get more into it if we want to retool this for the bird flu. I mean, for the friggin' the egg roll.
Yeah, I think we should try for the egg roll.
It would take about 5,455 chickens to lay that many eggs in 1 week. Wow, that's insane. That's what nerds like us. It would take 5,455 chickens to lay that many eggs in 1 week, the 30,000 eggs.
Wow.
That is a wow, right? I mean, that's something. 30,000 eggs takes 5,455 chickens to lay in 1 week. That's what I think people don't understand. Like the vastness of these numbers seems to make it like just difficult for people.
The Great American Egg Grift.
I like it. The Great American Egg Grift. The Great American Easter Egg Grift. Easter egg.
How do you take your egg still? I think it's
How do you take
How do we work that in?
In 6 slices, I take them raw. So gross.
Well, yeah. I have to. Let's see what else. What else do we got here? As prices soar and birds died, one egg producer rakes in profits. Why are taxpayers bailing out the egg industry during record profits? That's a good title.
I like that.
Because we'll love a title that starts with a question.
Yes, we do. Because we don't like to tell people what to think.
Well, no. And like, if people are like, oh, that's a good question, I want to answer to that, I'm going to click on that. And that's what we're going for. That's what the newspapers are going for. We want a headline that's that people are going to click on. Why is the cost of eggs so high? Why are taxpayers bailing out the egg industry while they make record profits?
Right, they're making all the money. We're taking all the risk.
Rake in.
They're taking all the risk. We pay for it all. Mung beans, baby.
Yeah.
Mung beans, says Sensi. Totally agree. I like the mung beans. All right. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us for All Beings Considered. Even though Crystal's not here visually, she's here in spirit.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Disembodied voice.
Issues with the technology today. And kind of a down day, but whatever. That's what it is.
It's a down day, but we're going to have an up day coming up, and we'll have lots going on tomorrow. And I'll see everyone tomorrow, and we'll see you in New York. If you're in New York or you know anyone in New York, please reach out, info@ourhonor.org. Let us know you want to hang out with us, and we can see what's going on. We can meet up, make some content. I don't know. We'll talk to you about bird flu.
Yeah. Join us for FOIA Friday at 4:00.
And FOIA Friday at 4. FOIA Friday at 4. Yeah. I've got an idea for another one. I want to keep on going with my they haven't gotten back to me about the Homeland Security one.
Yeah, no, they're not. They got 300,000 FOIAs to go through. You're not going to hear back on that for a long time. I would not hold your breath on that.
We're going to go next in line. I forget what the next one is, but I'm going to keep on going. I want to know more about the sale of the giant of Smithfield to the Chinese. I can't wait to find out more about what concerns the government had about that. It's funny. Everyone's talking. China's in the news every day right now, but no one ever talks about the fact that 25% of all pigs that people eat in America comes from a Chinese company. You know what I mean? I feel like that should come up more often, especially since China's in the news every day now. Shouldn't we be talking about this? Anyway, I hope everyone enjoys themselves, and we'll see you Friday, right? Yeah, Friday.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. All beans considered. I love beans. Good night, Kathy Skywalker. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye, everybody.